Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Chud Watch thing. Hi, this is Altered Rin. Hello, Altered Rin. How are you?
Hello.
We've talked about this before. Would you prefer me just say like Rin or Alter?
I don't really care. Like Altered Rin. Some people, it's usually what determines it is if they say the Rin part correctly. Because some people say Rhine.
I'm gonna go with Altered Rin then.
Whatever works for you. Hello, chatters.
We have a ridiculous number of chuds today. We have...
Oh boy.
My goodness. We have that video where the two evils meet. We have Jeremy and Sargon. I don't think I've ever seen so much disappointment in one frame before, and I've seen myself and Jake in a frame, so that's saying a lot. We have Tim Pool, who is, once again, Civil War baiting. Elliot Hulse, or wait, yeah, that's Elliot Hulse. There's too many Chuds, I get the names confused. Complaining about women in the workplace. Undead Chronic, calling people cucks, probably, because it's the only thing he does. Overlord DVD, something about Star Trek. Nerdrotic about the MCU and how he thinks it's too feminist. No BS complaining about Indiana Jones 5. Heels versus Babyface, critiquing Loki episode 6. Have you even seen Loki? I don't know if you've seen Loki.
I have not.
You haven't? Okay, we can't watch this one then, so that one's out. I apologize. Right Wing Watch if we want. We have Officer Tatum complaining about that Gay Men's Choir comedy video.
Wait, did you watch the Ben Shapiro one on stream?
No, Ben on stuff like that annoys me. I don't know.
Because did you see the song at least?
Yes, I saw the song.
Okay, so you know how they say we're coming for your children and we're going to turn them into like people who respect others?
Yeah. Here's my feeling on it. Like
Ben Shapiro. Wait, real quick. Ben Shapiro cut out the part where they say we're going to turn your kids into respectable people who respect others. He just left it as we're coming for your children.
Ben Shapiro being duplicitous and lying in order to try and further his message? I'm shocked!
Ben Shapiro's completely trustworthy.
So we have Officer Tatum talking about that same video, the quartering, doing the get woke, go broke thing over sports, and Awaken with JP on Facebook.
Yes.
So I guarantee we're not getting through a decent number of these things, but we'll get through some of them.
Yeah, we will certainly try.
Sorry, I have a bad habit of talking over you. I'm trying not to. How have you been?
Speaking over a woman. I don't. Do I have to bust out all my minority cards and compare?
Yes.
That's what us leftists do?
That's what we do. We have to do the oppression Olympics. That's what I've heard.
And whoever has the most points gets to yell the most.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I started watching Star Trek.
You did?
That was
Good.
the thing we talked about last time.
What did you start with?
The original series.
Cool. How far into it are you?
I believe we're almost done with the first season.
Okay. How do you like it so far?
I like it. I'm not a huge fan of Kirk, but it's real weird how I assume you noticed this. I don't know when the last time. It is a Moira shirt. Thank you for the 100 biddies, Kirthan. Thank you very much. But I don't know if you noticed this. Whenever they show like the woman of the episode, they put like a weird blue.
Yeah, they gotta do a filter, so you're like, ooh, she's a lady. Look at this pretty lady.
It's really weird when they do that, and then they cut to a close up of like Spock or Kirk, and then it'll just be like completely different lighting. It's just like
that's the lady vision. In the future, all ladies are lit like that at all times. It's a smart feature of the starships.
So when do I start glowing?
That's actually the determinant. We gotta find a starship, and if it does the light thing on us, then we're valid. If not, then the turfs are right all along. So
I got my kitty skittles.
Well, there you go. I think the ship would be like, yeah, sure.
It's official.
The ship is sort of transmedicalist for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh no!
I know.
Blair White's descendants designed the ship.
Oh no. So like, do you just not like Kirk because he's like a weird? I mean, I get it. The show has aged badly. If Kirk was a real guy, I wouldn't like him. But it's so cheesy and bad. I love it.
It's so cheesy that like I'm okay with it. But like, it's just like he's just very much like a womanizer and very like any like attractive woman sets foot within like 10 feet of him, and he's like,
Wait
I
until
apologize for that noise.
the last episode of season 3, which is the last episode of the original series, is one of the worst episodes. It's called, I don't mean to spoil, but it's called Turnabout Intruder, and the premise is someone that Kirk used to date does a Freaky Friday and switches bodies with him because she wants to be a captain of a ship. And Starfleet does not allow women in the 23rd century to be captains of ships.
Oh no.
And at the end of the episode, Kirk is like, when he gets back in his own body, he's basically like, Spock, McCoy, she could have had such a fulfilling life as a woman, but she wanted too much. Ha 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 ha. End of series. And that's like how the series ends, is them being like...
Women.
Women wanting too much. We already let you on the bridge. You want to be captain? Get the fuck out of here. You can't have that until the 90s, okay? Then you can have Janeway.
Yeah. H. Barrett wants to travel through space in a mini skirt, much like the uniforms.
Yeah, TNG.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone can wear skirts in TNG, but only in, like, the first season. Then no one can wear skirts for some reason.
Oh god, Infamous Robot is here and horny for Doyle. I hope I don't have to bring the horny jail overlay into the collab
Please do.
theme.
Let me do these bits messages real quick, and then we can get into the actual stuff. Cold Stare, thanks for 100 bits. Be very careful, John. Thanks for resubscribing. Phaedrus, thanks for 200 bits. Be very careful, John, with 100. Says, I thought I was cis, but I bought a skirt last week, and now I'm not so sure anymore. Why does it feel so good? What the fuck is going on? Help.
Well,
All I can tell you is skirt go spinning.
you can be a cis man and wear skirts.
You can. You absolutely can.
Like kilts are a thing.
Yeah. Maybe you're just Scottish. Sorry, I cut you off all the time. I'm not doing it intentionally. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm also used to like streaming by myself, so I can just like ramble for hours and no one can interrupt me.
It's my ADHD. I just gotta constantly be like...
Oh, me too. And yeah, a couple of my trans guy friends, not my boyfriends. Actually, Adam did send me a picture of him wearing a skirt, and it was pretty nice. I liked it. But yeah, some of my trans guy friends wear skirts. There are two genders: trans woman and Scottish.
Rennykins says, you look lovely, Hannah, and love the hair, Rin.
Thank you.
1 second. Hello, Baha. Hi.
I'm just staring at you.
Oh, okay. You look pretty.
You?
Hey, Baha.
Altered Rin says hello.
Hello.
Nick says, whenever conservatives say get woke, go broke, it's not descriptive, it's prescriptive. LR Sofin, thanks for following. Kirthan, thanks for 100 bits. 080 says, I'm on a boat. You're on a boat. Why are you watching Twitch on a boat? Do boat things. X-T, thanks for resubscribing. Tier 3 for 8 months. Wow. Thank you.
The reason that you're so interrupty is because of your ADHD.
You do drag. Yeah, I've done drag a couple times. I have pictures, but I don't think I can show them on Twitch. I don't know, because they don't show anything. But, like, the outfit is a little skimpy.
What's iffy about it? Like, be specific.
So, the top was just, like, a nice lace bra I got.
Okay.
And then I did shibari over it, the rope stuff.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know. And then I had, the first time I did it, I just had like a little skirt my friend made me that just long enough. But like, it's the top part that I'm like, I don't know how Twitch is like about showing lingerie.
Do you happen to be in front of a pool in the picture or in a pool?
I can Photoshop a pool into the background.
That might do it! That might do it. It just has to be in the hot tub section. Did they already implement that? I know they were gonna do that.
I believe so.
Oh no. I don't have a problem with it. I don't care. I just find it a very interesting phenomenon. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see if we can.
Like, if you're 12 years old and you're super horny on Twitch, they know they can just go on a porn website, right?
Yeah, pools, hot tub, and beaches.
Yeah, there you go. Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Good for them, though. Anyone on those channels, get that money.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just imagining, like, a 13-year-old being like, Mom, can I have your credit card? I want to buy V-Bucks. And then they send 1,000 bits to hot tub streamer.
I just looked through the category, and like one of the top ones was subs get Snapchat.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. We're in the wrong business.
Oh man, chat. Would I get more subs if I gave you a lewd Snapchat in exchange? One of the most popular Twitch hot tub streams is a 24/7 otter cam at the zoo.
The bestiality epidemic on Twitch is outrageous.
I knew it. The furries are taking over.
Anyway, I guess we should probably get to something. Do you have any preference? You can pick the first video if you'd like.
Oh boy. And then something Mac. Thank you for the follow. You people need to learn how to make more legible usernames.
I agree.
Like punctuation helps, capitalization. Look at that. Like handsomest robot, perfect example. Capitalized, punctuated. Anyway, I'm too indecisive, so you pick.
Okay. I'm gonna go with... This is tough. This is a lot of pressure, which is weird because I normally do this alone anyway, so it's normally my choice.
But now you have to impress me.
I know. Okay, let's do Elliot Hulse's The Problem with
Thank you
Women.
for the follow, Shamrock Star.
Let's do Elliot Hulse's The Problem with Women in the Workplace.
Oh boy.
This should be good.
If these women want to play ball, they might get tackled. If you're working with these women and they want to work in a work environment that's a manly work environment, men getting shit done, building stuff, breaking stuff, and making empires, then they ought to be able to roll with the punches. Yo.
Those are the 3 lines of work. Did you know that? Either breaking stuff, building things, or building empires. When you go to college, those are the 3 majors you can get.
I mean, technically, if I'm like making a film, I'm building a narrative. So yeah, that works.
Mavrect,
Thank you, Big
thanks
Scott.
for 4 months, legible usernames, LOL. And then Nick says that still frame of him with his mouth open. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Elliot.
I believe this is in the category of building empires. He's built an empire of being weird on the internet and lifting weights. Nothing wrong with lifting weights. It's just he, goes to skinny guys and is like, "You're a bitch. Join my program and give me money."
Oh, well, here's the thing, Elliot. You can't see, like, I have muscles and I'm a lady, and I forget who it was we were making fun of on stream last time, but I think they were just upset. They were talking about trans people, and I think they were just upset that some ladies have a bigger dick than them.
I don't have muscles or a big dick, so...
Oh, let's see. Well, I imagine one of those is going to go away. At least one of those is going to go away for me.
Yo, Elliot, I continue to notice that there are more and more women in the work environment. And the women around my age of 20, they're not really mature women. In September, I start at university. I want to take the lead in the projects, but I don't know if I'll be able to work with women. I want to get things done, but
If you're in your 20s and you don't think you can work with women, you're not mature. Why are you saying you think women aren't mature when you're an adult who can't work with people because they're women? What the fuck?
Did you go to, like, school?
Did I go to school?
No,
or did
like,
he go to
Elliot,
school?
did he... I'm used to saying you, because I'm used to the video being the only other, like, person here.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, did he go to, like, public school, or,
I don't
like...
know. I don't know Elliot's background.
I feel like if he went to an all-boys school, he would have mentioned it, and he would have been like, that's how school should be. We need men in schools, learning things.
Yeah, there's nothing manlier and straighter than a bunch of pubescent boys spending all their time together.
Thank you, Doodlebird. Oh, definitely. Definitely, the straightest places are definitely all one-gendered schools. And Morimiku, thank you for the paid.
Shadow of the Veil, thanks for 6 months. And Nick says, I majored in computer science, so that counts as breaking things sometimes. Why do U.S. conservatives sound more and more like the Taliban? Because they're both conservative. I don't know. Right-winger's gonna right-wing.
Afraid that the women I have to work with won't be as driven and serious as I am. I can be ruthless when it comes to saying what I think about someone's performance. I'll go all in when I need to tell a man, but not so much with a woman. I don't think it's very gentlemanly-like of me when I go all in on a woman. My question is how to best work with women.
The sexist shit aside, I find it hilarious that this is like a 20-year-old who's like, I'll tell people when...
Wait, he's 20?
Yeah, I think he said he's like 20-something. Not Elliot, the guy he's talking about, the guy who sent him the message.
I was going to be like, that's terrible for 20 years old.
The guy who wrote, like, the email or whatever, he's like, I'm, like, 20 years old, and I tell it like it is. I tell people, like, you're 20! I'm like 27, and even I'm like, I don't know. I don't know enough to, like, go in and fucking shit on people about stuff unless they're being complete assholes, like Elliot. But, like, this guy's 20, and he's like, I'm just entering the work environment for the first time, and I'm worried I'm not going to be able to criticize women enough. Can you help me, Elliot?
Like, that's the thing with, like, John Doyle. John Doyle's almost a year younger than me.
Yeah.
I'm 22, and I was born in February. He was born in December of '99, so almost a full year younger than me.
Oh God, you're so young. I shouldn't say that. You're not that much younger than me.
Yeah, you're like 5 years old.
I know. I'm getting to be closer to 30, and it makes me sad.
30. Oh my! You might as well be a grandma.
I know. Sky Comet Fallen says, OMG, coochie cooties. Elliot the beta, probably. Netzerk, thanks for 6 months. How to best work with women. Just do your fucking job. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
So, in my opinion, there's no reason to be gentlemanly-like with a bunch of women who are not being feminine, right? And so, if these women want to play ball, they might get tackled. If you're working with these women and they want to work in a work environment that's a manly work environment, men getting shit done, building stuff, breaking stuff, and making empires, then they ought to be able to roll with the punches. Just like when we were kids. Do you remember when we were kids, we would play like football, right? Boys would play football. I remember playing football. We would just tackle the shit out of each other. We have a grand old time, me and the boys in the neighborhood playing football and knocking each other out. But then come along the girl, right? And the girl is cute, so you make accommodations for her. She's cute. Oh, she wants to play with us, but nobody's going to tackle the girl.
He's unironically stuck in the mindset of, like, a 7-year-old.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, when I was that young, I mean, I never played football. I'm 5'6", and I weigh, like, nothing.
Yeah.
So I just break. But, like, when I was, like, in elementary school, like, it was just kind of like everyone just kind of did what they wanted. Like, sometimes the girls would play like the dumb haha do stupid shit game that like is popular amongst children. Like, I don't know, you're a kid, you just do stupid stuff and it's entertaining.
Sure. I just play with my Bionicles.
Damn, I still have my Bionicles.
Sweet. I'm still salty they discontinued Bionicles. Lego, what are you doing? DGCO, thanks for 13 months.
Upsetting.
like they tackle the boys. You're gonna hold back just a little bit. Oh, it's a girl. And then you know what? You got this one kid that was just like, he's so based that when the girl gets the ball, he just bang, just knocks the shit out of her, right? And then she wants to start crying, and then the other boys call him a tyrant. Well, that's okay when you guys are kids, but when we like working in the real world, when the bottom line is at hand, and men belong in the workplace and women have invaded, they gonna get treated like men.
Women have invaded the workplace. Clearly, women, it's the natural state of nature. You know, those natural office buildings that spring out of the desert. When you go into them, and it's just like, this is an environment for men. If a woman comes in here, it's unnatural, okay?
Yeah, they used to fill the water coolers with like pure testosterone.
Yeah, can't do that
instead
anymore.
of water. But no, I guess that's a problem now.
Now we
Cancel
gotta-
culture's gone too far.
We gotta fill them with soy now, just to keep things on an even playing field.
That's right, it is evil.
Nick says, you should treat women like you treat men, with fucking respect. Agreed.
But they're women.
No,
See, that's the part you're freaking. They're just different.
I know.
Right? You want to be here with the big boys? You want to do the things that the boys are doing? You want to hang with the men? Well, you're going to get treated like a man. And I tell you this, is for you.
There's nothing manlier than being a data analyst and sitting at a computer for 8 hours a day while getting crippling depression from lack of vitamin D. Manly work!
Yeah, nothing's more manly than sitting there for like 5 hours trying to figure out how you staring at a screen because your program doesn't work and it turns out you just forgot a bracket.
You treat this woman like you would treat the other men, the women that see you treating her that way will be turned on. Because they realize this guy's no simp. He's no pushover.
Why is this all of a sudden about getting women to be interested in you sexually? Elliot, we're talking about a workplace environment. What the fuck are you talking about? First of all, why are you like, assuming you're not the boss anyway, because this guy's like 20, he's not the boss, he's just a fellow employee. Yeah. Is his strategy to go into the work world and just yell at his like fellow employees? Because he's not going to keep that job very long.
Yeah, that's like how to get fired 101.
And if you're a manager, just yelling at everyone and like shitting on them constantly is going to lead to terrible morale and high turnover. And if he's treating them the way Elliot would probably treat them, probably some HR complaints.
Well, big time. And then whoever this person is, probably not going to have a job there for much longer.
Yeah.
He's not going to accommodate for this inferior man, because that's what women are playing. They're playing this game of being inferior men, rather than being superior women at home making babies, raising their families, and being good wives. They out there trying to compete, right? And the fact that you're in university, and university nowadays is like 90% women, you're going to be dealing with all these insufferable bitches that think they smart and they're well-deserving and they're strong.
Wait, did he just say bitches that think they're smart?
Dealing with all these insufferable bitches that think they smart and they're well-deserving.
All you bitches going to college and getting a higher education, lift weights like me. That's how I get my brain. I eat Alex Jones's caveman bone broth and I lift heavy stuff. I'm a genius.
The brain force. you need to just like mainline brain force right into your. You know what? Fuck it. Go right into the jugular with brain force. That's what you got to do.
I'm really sorry about this one. Daddy Sume with 30 bits says, Hannah,
no.
I have a message for Rin. Ooh woo, ooh woo, ooh woo. Love you, Rin. Hope you are good, bae. Daddy is here and is very sus of your owos. Now give me an ooh woo in reply.
Fine. Oh, God. You know what? Yeah, if you look at my stream, you can... Oh, God damn it. I closed the streaming mode thing, and, like, now the cameras were a little fucked up, but... Here, we'll switch... Oh, crap, I disabled camera, so you can't even get a wide Rin, but... Ooh woo.
That's good shit. Abby, my dudes, thanks for 11 months, says, Hey, Hannah, haven't been able to make a stream lately. Glad to catch one. Sorry, I know I get a lot of bits messages and stuff. Stromboli for
How dare
Wi-Fi.
you make money?
Yeah, sorry. Dumb question, Hannah, but is your camera reversed when you're stream with other people, or do you have two offices? It's probably just reversed. I do not have two offices. Sky, I have two offices, but they're identical and just mirrored. I keep them next to each other. Just to fuck with you guys. Sky Comet Fallen says, LMAO, I'm way smarter than you. A chipmunk is smarter than you, Elliot. Okay, I'm good. I've made the money. I just made a really gross noise unintentionally. This is going well.
And they're strong and they're independent and they're going to try to flex their muscle on you. Either that or they're going to Me Too you. And you got to stand.
What is with this? You're not gonna get Me Too'd if you don't harass or assault anyone. Just be a normal human.
Just don't touch her butt.
Elliot.
Like, it's not that hard.
Elliot, you know how no one you've ever worked with who's a man has ever accused you of assault or harassment? Just treat the women the way you treat your bros, okay? Just don't harass. That's not even good, because he probably does, like, do terrible things to his male friends. So I don't know.
Yeah, he'll probably just be like, you're not lifting weights enough, bro. Oh, you're being nice to a woman? What a beta cuck. And I got 100 bits so I can interrupt you. From Chaotic Star Whale saying, giving you a bit message so you have an excuse to interrupt Hannah to read a bit message.
There you go. That's the good stuff.
That's
Daddy
the
Sue
grift.
Daddy Sue says, I'm cursed with the horniness of ages. I am the whore of Fapalon. Hannah cannot handle me. Give me all your uwoos. And Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, you know that man does slap ass in the locker room, Hannah. Probably true. But in a very straight way, okay? He just touches his bros' butts. In a fraternal fashion.
Oh yeah, just like, it's not gay if it's with the homies, you know?
Stand firm. You got to say no. I'm not putting up with you. I'm not dealing with you. I don't care if you cry. I don't care if your feelings were hurt. I don't care if you're on your period. Oh,
He did the thing. He said the thing. We did it.
you're pregnant, go home. Right? That's just the way it should be. Right? Why do we have to accommodate for the lowest common denominator? Why do we have to draw ourselves back in a listen? The business world is like the battlefield these days, right? We're not really fighting real wars.
Again, Elliot is not like a guy who has a normal office job like most people, or even like retail or customer service. He's a guy that shills his workout program on the internet. He has no idea what it's
And
like to
hates
work
women?
Yeah. He does not know what it's like to interact with normal human beings or have a normal job. Just pointing it out.
Doodleburb, thank you for gifting 3 tier 1 subs.
Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, you know that man does... I read that one. Bellum Guardian says, but Tatum, this job doesn't give us maternity leave. And then Nick says, nobody would hire him for an office or customer service job anyway for obvious reasons. Yep.
God, imagine him working, like, regular, like, retail work.
You go
like
in
at, like,
and
McDonald's.
I was going to say, like, you go into Best Buy and you're like, hey, you have any PlayStation 5s? And he's like, yo, bro, you're going to get that PlayStation 5, like a beta? You got to get out there and you got to fuck bitches, okay? You cannot be sitting on the couch like a loser cuck. You got to go out and lift, okay?
It's like, oh, okay, I'll ask someone else.
I guess I'll
Thank you.
go check Amazon.
Entrepreneur is the new warrior. And if we're out there building businesses, we're
What a weird need to fill your life with the perceived masculinity you feel you lack in order to try and define you being an entrepreneur as being a warrior. That's a weird complex where you're like, I'm going out and making sales and making acquisitions and reframing that in your mind to be like, I am the same as someone who murders other people for conquest. Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's basically the same. Like, you know, you're a Girl Scout out in the corner selling your Thin Mints. You're basically a Spartan.
Yeah. I've seen multiple Girl Scouts take deformed babies and throw them off a cliff just because they're not worthy to sell Thin Mints. Lily Love Stuff says, I want Elliot to spend 1 menstrual cycle with endometriosis or PCOS. He would run away and not be... Oh, wait, what is that? He would no... God, it's a typo. He would no way be able to function. I'm assuming that's supposed to be.
Horrible.
Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, if you've never said, would you like fries with that? You don't know how at least 40% of the U.S. population has felt since in the workplace. And Von Tuck says, I can see this dude comparing taking a shit to the battlefield. I mean...
Sometimes it is like a battlefield.
Stretching the bottom line. We're expanding our product line. We're doing a whole lot, but you getting in my way. You whining, you crying. And here's the other thing with women these days, right? Because of feminism, you can't say nothing to them without it turning into me too.
Anytime anyone says that, I assume they don't know how to interact with any woman without sexually harassing them. This is not an issue. Like, long before I ever came out as trans and I was, presenting as masculine, or as masculine as I could muster at the time, like, I interacted with hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of women over the years. Never once did I have a problem of them being like, I'm gonna make up accusations about you. That's not how it works, typically.
Like, just, I don't know, maybe, like, be like, hi, how are you? And, like, if you find yourself attracted to this woman, maybe be like, hey, would you like to go have sexual intercourse with me, a man, a cisgender man with a big penis? And if they say no, that's it. You don't go like, but I'm a man, a conqueror, a provider. You're a woman, a feeble. Get pregnant and do that, and that's it. That's what you get.
That's just
get
silly.
Pregnant.
Altered Rin, have you considered getting pregnant? Because I think maybe you're just on your period for having that opinion.
Yeah, that's it. I am fairly hormonal now. But
by the way, how do you have you like been taking the hormones already for like a week or so?
No, I just took my second dose today.
Fucking
today.
Rad. Are you like thrilled?
I am excited, but like I also am like I don't want to get too excited because like I know shit's not gonna happen for like a few weeks at least.
It takes a while. Like, this is a complete non sequitur, but I wanted to talk about this because you mentioned it. Unless you're uncomfortable, I don't want to push this if you
I have no problem.
Okay, cool. Like, I was so excited. Are you on T blockers yet? If you don't mind me asking again, if you...
I am taking Spyro and estradiol.
Okay. My doctor had me start the estrogen first and then dialed in the T blockers eventually for some reason.
Interesting.
In her experience, it was better for breast development for some reason. I don't know why. Which it worked out, though. I've got, again, TOS. But, like, they're pretty good. They're pretty good after a year and a half or 2 years or however long I've been on them. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this, other than I'm very happy for you, because I love being on the hormones. Makes me feel so much better.
To rub it in my face that you have boobs.
Hey, you're on your way. You're well on your way.
Yeah, right now it's like, I can still feel my ribs through everything.
You'll be good. Yeah, just wait for them to do their hormonal magic.
Yeah, I did hear that in around 3 to 4 weeks, things will start to get very sore.
Yes.
In this area.
Yep.
I also heard Spyro makes you pee a lot.
It does. Get pickles. I'd recommend pickles. They're very salty and they're low calorie, so you can just sit there and eat a bunch of them and not feel guilty like if you were to eat a bag of chips or whatever.
I did have some really good pickles yesterday, but that is irrelevant to HRT other than they were really good. They had like horseradish in like the pickle brine.
Nick says, peanut butter patties are the superior Girl Scout cookie. I'll die on this hill. Daddy Sume says, I'm at war with my bowels, and my primary weapons are hot sauce and spicy food. The total war is unending, and no prisoners are taken. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, maybe Elliot speaks like a perfect gentleman to all his female employees, just directly into their boobs. Kirthan says, Elliot, I'm a woman and I have never filed a sexual harassment complaint at work because the men I worked with are decent human beings, evidently unlike you. Sorry, did you Were you saying something?
I was just saying Marok Benioff redeemed a hydrate. So even though I just took a sip before that happened, I guess I have to do it again.
Oh god, I gotta check mine. Did I? Nope, none yet for me. Daddy Sume says, I have bigger titties than most teenage girls, and I am deeply upset. I'm sorry, everyone. Jesus. Nick says, I hope Elliot watches this video for all the talk about trans issues. It'd blow his mind. He won't. Sky Kama Fallen says, I don't understand why these dudes like Elliot want a life with a wife that only knows how to have sex like a dead fish and fucks the pizza boy while he's at work. They come to hate each other and spend the rest of their life refusing to talk to each other. How is that a good life? And now I gotta hydrate.
And I have gotten this a lot. I'm not entirely sure why, but I have gotten a lot of people when I say like, "Oh, I'm gonna be starting HRT soon." People will be like, "Oh, I thought you already did them," and I was like, I don't really get why, but like a lot of people are like shocked that I didn't start them already.
Honestly, in my experience, if you present yourself as female, as feminine, people aren't paying. I don't. How do I put this? Like, I have a lot of concerns about when I go outside in my preferred clothing. No one's ever been rude to me. I haven't even seen people like being. I don't know. I think we're all very hyper focused on our own looks, and we're overcritical to an extent. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure you couldn't even see it on cam, but like I even like shave before this, but like occasionally like I'll see like a shadow here or something. I'll be like, everyone can see it, and like no one besides me can see it.
Yeah.
Or like I don't know if you've ever gotten this, but occasionally like I'll forget to shave, but then I can like feel like the hair there. Like it's just like it all like
The way in
tingles almost.
in my head that I think about it, it's like little spider legs that are poking out of my face, and I just want them gone. It's bad.
Yeah. And 30 biddies from H. Barrett. Here's a message to keep things balanced. Welcome aboard the E-Train.
Rublum, thanks for 100 bits.
Just gotta flex on me like that. Oh, gosh. Right? So as far as working with women, there's a trend. There's a new trend I've noticed. And I started hearing about it and reading about it, where men will not work with women. Because feminism has made it such, and the Me Too movement has made it such, that if you're alone with a woman, she could say anything she wants about what you did or said to her.
Stop harassing women. Stop it. Nick, thanks for 145 bits, becomes the stream boss.
Just maybe just like talk to them like a normal human being.
Yeah.
So like they won't have like any reason. So like even if like they like in the rare chance that they maybe exaggerate a claim or make something up, but it's like then like if you're like a normal person to every other woman, maybe then they'll be like everyone else might be a little bit more sus about it.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like Tobuscus, like the thing that happened with him was like completely fabricated.
Okay. I'm not familiar. I don't do the YouTuber drama stuff, so I don't know what was up with him.
This was years ago.
Sure.
But like
Was he dating Jacqueline Glenn at some point? Or was that some other YouTuber she dated? I don't remember.
I don't know. But basically somebody like made up something and like completely like fucked over his entire career, and then it like came out like way later that it like never happened.
But
it was like, but they act like that is like 90% of the things.
Yeah.
But in reality, I think the statistic was like less than like 3% or something, or like less than 1%. It's like absurdly low.
Yeah. Rumblin' with 145 says, if it helps validate you, Hannah, I'll bite the bullet and be that first asshole for you. I'm good. Big Sweet Demon says, good afternoon, Hannah and Rin. I just arrived. Which one of Elliot's 95 theses are we discussing today? Today we're discussing why women in the workplace is bad for some reason.
And Morgan the Fae lied with 20 biddies, saying, Rin, people think you've already started hormones. Cuz I assume that's just supposed to be because you're a beauty. Thank you, but I disagree.
We gotta stop. I do that too. We gotta stop being so self-deprecating. We can both... We need to accept compliments, even if we can't compliment ourselves.
I'm working on it. Right now, I'm, like, accepting compliments from my boyfriends. And, like, but other than that...
Well, that's a good step.
Chat is still, like...
Rin's
you know
chat.
Riverboat
Rin's chat. Everyone, just give her all the compliments.
No, they're already starting.
There you go. Acclimate.
You know Riverboat Jack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was doing a drunk stream,
Mm-hmm.
and for like 20 to 30 minutes, she just called me pretty.
Accept the
And
compliments. Daddy Sume with 30 bits says, "Ooh, Altered Rin, you is a huge cutie." See, even my chat's in on it.
And I like how they give you money to tell me.
Hey, if that's what you guys want to do, if you want to give me money to compliment Rin, that's the best for me. That's honestly the best.
Though I would feel equally as I will feel probably more awkward if you give me money to call me pretty. So, part of me would rather you give Hannah money.
Okay, do that.
But also, I need money. So I gotta grift.
So a lot of guys, what they're doing, I heard this about on Wall Street, they won't take trips with women, right? They won't be alone on a flight with a woman. They won't be alone in a
In fairness, I wouldn't want to be alone with a Wall Street guy either, so that's probably best for everyone.
Yeah. Unless they're gonna give me drugs, then maybe.
hotel with a woman. They won't be alone in
fun
the
kind.
office with a woman. They always would invite more, or they just don't invite the women. The women are not being invited anymore because they're behaving badly.
Or because you can't get away with harassing them. Maybe it's that one. Maybe because the only value you see in women in the workplace is to be able to harass them or try and fuck them.
Uh-huh.
And when you can't do that anymore, you all of a sudden don't feel that they have any purpose because you don't see them as human beings. Maybe it's that.
So we got 100 biddies from Kirthan. Rin, you look stunning, especially with that light coming through the window. 30 biddies from Daddy Sume, saying, "Ooh, ooh, hey Rin, tell Hannah she is super cute. Hannah, you're super cute."
Oh, great. Thank you. I have some too.
Maria, saying 100 biddies, Hannah is very cute too. Oh no, we have a hype train now.
Cold Stare says, "You look good, Rin. Deal with it." Citosaurus says, "You're both adorable." Strumbly for Wi-Fi says, "I mean, I'd hit that, not to fetishize you, but I do have a thing for your type, you know, blue-haired people." What Luna said, "Thanks for 4 months," says, "I'm late, but I'm enjoying the love going on right now." Baja says, "Elliot is quiet. I turned him up, so hopefully it'll be a little better." Abby, my dude, says, "Rin, love the hair color." And Kirthan says, "Your turn, Hannah. Absolute cutie. 10 out of 10. Seems perfect for cuddles." Thank you.
And Mixgothy, thank you for the 4-month subbies. Listen,
I'm gonna give
I'm
you a
trying to deal with it.
because you have to accept. You're
Oh.
very beautiful. Love.
Thanks.
Morimiku with 100 biddies
Just
saying,
mentioned.
"Jeb." See, now you have it. You get it in person. I get to avoid that and figure out how to deal with compliments until Wednesday. Wednesday, then it's all. I'm going up to Boston on Wednesday to see Adam and Danny.
Fun. That'll be a good time.
Pointless with 200 biddies, thank you. And Doodlebird with another 100 biddies, saying, "Appreciation biddies for the lovely lady." Thank you, thank you.
Right? Or if you're with a woman, one of the things you should do is have a microphone, have something recording the whole conversation, right? Hey, you're a woman, you want to be a big boy, you want to come work with me, but they have that, they have that ability to be believed, right? Believe all women, right? Which is a lie. They don't believe all women. They don't believe all women when they're telling the truth, right? But they want to believe all women when it will make men look bad.
Fucking yikes. Tucker White says, "Oh, lay off, Hannah. There's nothing wrong with a nice grope." Oh no! Wait, I think I got a nice grope on the ass and slap on the cheek. Wait, I think I got the order wrong. Oh no! That message was sarcastic in tone, Twitch. I assume so. Jesus Christ.
Puka, thank you for, and Stupid Q, thank you for the biddies. We're almost at level 2. Hannah might get to meet Jeb.
Do it.
Believe all women. Okay, believe all women. Guess what? Believe this. You ain't hanging out with me unless I got a tape recorder in the room. You're
Okay. Cool.
not
You're
hanging out
saying to
with me.
wear a wire when you talk to women.
I also don't understand how that's like a clever response. He's like, believe all women. All right, believe this. I'm going to use a tape recorder. All right. But like the implicit humor in that would be like, you're a woman, but I don't think Elliot is. He doesn't identify as such. So kind of a botched comeback, but you know, he's trying. I'll give him that.
Unless I have this iPad recording us from the corner in the tripod, right? This is what men are doing. They're not allowing themselves to be alone with women, and it's a good idea. In fact,
If you're the kind of man, or anyone for that matter, who feels they can't be alone with a woman without being accused of assault randomly, then please stay away from women. You're probably unintentionally harassing them. You're just a shitty person.
It can't be that hard to like. I mean, I've been around my fair share of women, and at no point was I ever just like, I should just like grab her ass, like just like unprompted, just be like, "Arr."
Nope.
Like, at no point was I tempted to do that. Like, I've seen a nice butt or two out in the wild, but like, I appreciate it, and that's about it.
Yep. That's a normal human way to react to someone you find attractive. Don't touch. Jesus Christ.
fact, I started taking my daughters to a soccer clinic, a soccer coach, right? Soccer coach, because my daughters are playing soccer. I think it's good for women to be in athletics. They should be in shape. My wife lifts, right? So I get my daughters involved with sports, not so that they can compete with men and try to be boys like these girls who put on helmets and want to play football with boys. Those girls should get smashed. Stay in your lane.
Oh, he literally said the quiet part out loud. Okay, cool. Jesus Christ.
And Morgan the Fae, thank you for the 20 biddies. Don't have enough biddies contribute to the hype train. I mean, 20 biddies still contributes. And we need a channel points redemption for Rin to actually accept a compliment. You're a mega cutie. Thank you, Morgan.
I take them to soccer practice, and you know the soccer practice, young coach. He reminds me of myself when I was first starting out. He's at a little warehouse gym, real small place. It's just him in there. You know what he
Honestly, if I was Elliot and I had a coach dealing with my daughters that reminded me of a younger me, if I was Elliot, I'd probably pull them out immediately because that coach is absolutely going to harass those kids.
Well,
Rublum.
he doesn't consider it harassment because they're women. They can't get harassed.
I guess so. Rublum, thanks for gifting a sub. How do you think Elliot would react if his kids came home? He has like teenage daughters or young, not children, but they're like either preteens or teens, if I remember correctly. If they came home one day and were like, "Daddy, the soccer coach harassed me sexually," do you think Elliot's gonna be like, "I don't know, are you making things up?" Or is he gonna get violent and go and murder the coach? I can't tell. I feel like it's a coin flip.
Yeah, I feel like it's very much a coin flip. He's either... I feel like it depends how much he knows the coach.
Mhm.
If he knows them personally, he's not going to believe them.
Okay.
But if he doesn't know them, I feel like he's going to like show up to that guy's house and like just beat the shit out of him.
Sure.
Or try to.
Yeah.
I feel like he's also like 5'4", and like even though he lifts weights, I feel like an average like sized adult could just kind of like push him over and then like lock him outside.
This reminds me of this is a non sequitur again, But in high school, there was a teacher at my school he was a shorter guy. He was shorter than I am, and I'm already pretty short. I'm like 5'6", which for as someone a male at birth, whatever, below average. But he was a short dude. Anyway, he lifted weights and stuff. He did that whole, like, I'm a short guy, but I'm, he was a nice guy, though. He's not mean or anything. And I knew this other guy who was doing steroids in school. He was a wrestler. He was, like, the brother of a friend of mine, because I mostly had friends who were women back in high school. And I mentioned this offhand at one point to that teacher, and he just laughed and said, like, well, they're not working. And I found that pretty funny. Dr. White says, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, if you ever think you can't find love and or get laid, just remember, Elliot here has gotten laid. Even if he can get laid, then there's hope for you. Lily Lovestuff says, as a girl who used to play tackle football with the boys who grew up to be like Elliot, I kicked their asses thoroughly. I genuinely think I'm understanding his background. Bellum Guardian says, Elliot seems like the kind of dad that sees their daughters as property, so I'd say murder. He does. Many of his videos get more explicit on that. Colston says, Rin is close, he's 5'8". Oh, okay, that's actually shorter than I thought it would be. Tucker White says...
Yeah, I could tell you was shorter.
Yeah. Even if he doesn't know them, I think it's still 50-50 if he would believe his daughters. And Lily Lovestuff says, honestly, I'm going to guess that his daughters would be too uncomfortable to say things to him about it because this is how he behaves. Oh my god, you're probably right. That's sick.
I got 100 biddies from Amori Miku. Pretty sure it would end like the ending of Batman v Superman. Elliot would get violent until he cornered the coach and realized that the coach's mother's name was also named Martha. And then they would be best friends and then fight the big bad.
In fairness, Elliot is a character I think Zack Snyder would write, so...
Yeah. He seems
Has a policy.
like a character. Not a real person. Just a character.
He says, I will not stay in here with your daughter alone. He says, by no means ever do I allow myself to be alone with a girl in this warehouse, right?
Wow, he's literally, oh my god, oh no.
Remember when I started strength camp, I have a couple little girl clients, teenage girls, high school girl clients, and their parents would drop them off, and I would do some workouts with them, and they would go home, right? I thought nothing of it, right? This was back in like 2008. But this guy, he's smart. He's like, no, you can't drop your daughter off. You have to stay here. The only way you could drop your daughter off is if there's a group, if there's a large group and they can all see. And it's better that the large group also has boys in it, right?
Is this guy's supposition that a group of, 10 little girls are all gonna conspire to lie about him for no reason? What the fuck?
Like, what? I never got this. Just if you just don't do anything, I think the thing is they assume that the men that I don't even know what they assume because it's just don't do anything, and nothing will happen to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfectly nice to this person, but just don't touch their butt.
Don't touch them, don't harass them. I think here's the issue. I think because they genuinely don't understand that the things they say are, fucked up, and the way that they view women as basically objects and subservient to men is fucked up, just the way they talk to women must be awful, and they don't realize that it's not normal, and it's not right, and therefore they think, well, I didn't do anything, she's just making stuff up. That wasn't harassment, I was just talking to her, and therefore they think it's a lie, even though they don't understand that they're not even understanding what they did wrong.
Yeah, I would love to see, Elliot just, records, an interaction he had with a woman somewhere, just, in public. Just, even if she's just, some, Best Buy worker or something.
Sure.
Just to see how he generally talks to women in public.
Badly. He seems like the type of person to me who anytime he sees a woman at let's say he was at a Best Buy, I feel like he'd come up and be like, hey sweetheart, I'm looking for the Blu-rays. You know what I mean? He'd like make it weird.
Yeah, it's just like, and it's like it's not enough for like that person to like directly call like security, because I don't know about you, but I have been catcalled
Hmm.
and stuff like that, and like I've heard this from other trans women that it's weirdly validating
Yeah.
because it's like, ah, yes, I'm getting treated like shit, like a real woman.
Yeah, I haven't been catcalled like in person because I never go outside. But as you can tell from my Victorian hatter tone of skin, but like if I get that kind of stuff online, that's kind of how I feel. Like I've had people Twitter DM me or in chat show up and say pretty harassing, lewd things, weirdly validating.
Like, show me your tits.
Yeah, like the people who say "show me your tits."
for
Well-
$100,
I want to see your tits.
Well, you
send it to
you
me
can
on
see 'em later.
Venmo.
What? Sorry,
I was saying
Baja was
for-
talking to me.
I was gonna say, send me $100 on Venmo, and I'll send you a picture of my titty. Wait, no, I don't think I could say that on Twitch.
No, you can't. You cannot
was a
say
joke.
that.
It
That's
was a
a
joke,
joke.
Twitch.
That's a joke. Von Tuck says, Elliot is definitely dying of rage-induced heart attack someday. He just exudes rage in his body language. His blood pressure must be through the roof. Strumpoli for Wi-Fi says, were you wearing cat ears when that happened? I call that entrapment. No pun intended.
What he says, and I don't blame him for that. He's right. He's right. If you're going to be around women, you better not be alone with them. You better bring another man, preferably another man, but there should be more than one. There should be more than one if you're ever going to be alone with these women in the workplace, bro, because they're ruining it for everybody. And so I wish you the best. I wouldn't want to be in your situation, right? I will much rather work with men and then come home to my wife. I love women. I really do. I love my wife. I love my daughters. But I want to come home to them. I want my wife to be at home, being a homemaker, right? I don't want to work with my wife in the office, right?
That's so funny, too, because Elliot has literally talked before about how his wife does work with him in his company. So how does his wife feel about this video where he's expressly saying, I don't want to work with you, even though she works with him?
Yeah, wait, so she works on whatever this
Yeah.
nonsense
Yeah.
is?
She works with his, to set up stuff for his program and sets appointments and, does clerical work for him, basically, from home.
I guess he's okay with that because she's a secretary, and that's one of the acceptable positions in a workplace.
Secretary,
For a emoid.
teacher, prostitute. Oh, nurse.
Seamstress with
Yeah.
popular position.
Okay. Tucker White says, none of us are asking to see your tits, Hannah, because we've seen the butter nips. That's true. They were very different back then, though. Do you know about the butter nips?
I have seen it.
Okay.
I think like once or twice somebody donated it on. I didn't see the original video,
Yeah.
but I saw the clip Jake has on his donation thing. I think if you donate $80.88, the clip of the butter nips, please.
What? He didn't ask me permission for that. What a bastard. I want my cut of that $80. Fuck him. What is he doing? Daddy Sume says, hey, Hannah, you're looking fine, girl. You're looking awesome. Show me your great tit. Here's mine. And then it's a picture of a bird that's the great tit.
Yeah, that's what I meant, Twitch. I'm gonna send a picture of the bird that I have. Although
I don't want to
one
be
of my
out
boyfriends
there.
has 2 pet pigeons, so.
He said you asked me a long time ago. That's a lie. He never asked me about that.
Oh, is Jake in chat?
No, Daddy Sume was just saying.
Oh.
He said. In fairness, he started Twitch when I was real deep into my alcoholism, like the worst parts of it. So maybe he asked me and I was very drunk. I don't know.
It's a possibility.
Competing with her for sales, right? I want to go do that. That's what men go do. part of the problem with the lack of polarity in this sexual generation right now is because women do what men do, so men have nothing to offer women.
I was strongly apathetic about it because we talked about it in Hannah and Jake. Okay.
We really don't. They don't need us anymore.
Complaint retracted.
It was good when we needed each other, but they don't need us, right? We need them if we want babies, right? And they need us too. But as far as lifestyle is concerned, they don't need us. So you know what men become? Disposable.
What are you talking about? You just said that both men and women are, or at least you know what I'm talking about, are required for reproduction. If the only reason you feel you have a purpose in life is to subjugate half of the population in order to force them to need your labor to live, that's bad. Not only do you have a very negative view of yourself, you're fucking evil if you're like, I'm so useless that the only thing I can do is tell other people they don't have the rights to go have agency, and then they need to use me to make money and have food and a home. That's disgusting.
Like, just, I don't know, be like a person who they want to be around. Like I said, like we were saying before, I'm not a huge fan of myself, but apparently other people like me, and some of them want to spend significant amounts of time with me and do fun things. But it's like, just, I don't have much to like offer them financially. I'm broken in college. So like, it's like they just like to be around me.
See, there you go. That's kind of a compliment to yourself. Your personality is effervescent. It draws people towards you.
Yeah, see, there's at least 27 people who enjoy my presence.
Well, there you go. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, speaking as an alcoholic, how bad did it get? All I ever saw you drunk was the Smirnoff Ice. Please skip if uncomfortable. Bad. I was drinking like a fifth of vodka a day. It was terrible. Von Tuck says, I'm so manly. Now listen to me complain about how picked on I am as a man because I'm so tough and manly. John Brongus with 100 bits says, remember Pence said he was hesitant of being around women alone, but for a different reason? He was afraid he'd be tempted to have an affair? Yeah, that's fucking weird. Sky Comet Fallen says, black people don't need white people to feed them anymore. They can have jobs now. White people are disposable. Good comparison. Stupid logic. Tucker White says, seriously, how fucked up must you be to think the only worth someone has is if you're shitting out babies? Now, on an unrelated note, I need to feed my femboys in the basement.
And Morgan the Fae, thank you for gifting a tier 1 subby to Clara Chan. Thank you, thank you. And Morgan says she enjoys my presence. I'm glad you do.
Nick says, meow, 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 meow. A fifth is a lot? Oh yeah, I was like a severe, I mean, I guess I still am, I just don't drink anymore, but like, oh yeah. Used to be real bad. That was before again, I don't mean to make this depressing, but this is before I came out, but by the time I knew, like, I need to do something, but I was just, like, stalling. You know what I mean? Because I just didn't have the, like... I was like, I can't do this, so I was just, like, dealing with it in a very unhealthy way.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're doing better.
Yeah. After that, after I did come out, I still drank, and it was still too much, but it mellowed out a lot, and now I'm, like, almost 4 months sober, so that's good.
Good.
Disposable. I think there needs to be a movement, plenty of movements. I love this idea of movements, that things are changing, but most of my ideas are a reversion to tradition. I think we need to go back to tradition. And as shit hits the fan and things get harder, we will go back to tradition. Women will go back to their homes. They will go back to their homes when things start getting really tough out there, because men protect.
Thank you for the follow.
I think Elliot sees Handmaid's Tale as aspirational, as opposed to dystopian.
Yeah, like have you seen the whole thing?
I've only seen like the first and half the second season. I gotta watch it at some point, but I'm not caught up.
it's very good, but like, yeah, these people are just like, it's like so many of these like weird right wingers will like look at. I've heard they did it with I haven't seen Invincible, but I heard they did it with Omni Man, and like, there's a couple other like villains who they're like, yeah, look at this guy, he's so cool.
Oh
Like,
god, if anyone liked Omni-Man by the end of the first season of Invincible, they have to be like a literal fascist. There's no way to justify that one.
like there's, I saw some Omni Man. I don't remember any like other specific ones, but it's like he's the bad guy. You're not supposed to like him.
Big Sweet Demon says Elliot doesn't care who women are, they're only good for pumping out babies. Does he
Uh-oh.
care who the babies end up being? His paradigm just feels like a depressing factory of rigid lives. Yup. Tucker says, oh god, he's a fucking MGTOW. Not really, because he's not going his own way. He has a wife and kids. He's just a dick. Nick says, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we go back to tradition, he's going to have a bad time because he doesn't look white to me. That's what I don't get. I never understand right-wingers like this who want to go back in time who, like, aren't white Protestant men.
Yeah, like
History.
like any minority conservative baffles me. And we also have, as Jordan Breskopoulos would say, a big man in the chat who who says, neither of you look like girls. Changing the pronouns in your bio will not change the fact that you have a penis. The one on the right is fat, and Ben, the one on the right, looks like a Dane. Apparently you look Danish.
Cool. Daddy Sume says, I remember the movie that was incredibly creepy with the reformed sexual predator who wouldn't be alone with women because he thought he would do very bad things, like date... What? Oh, no, like date R-word and drug them with alcohol. What was that movie called? Oh, yeah, Old Fashioned, named after a handy. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Mike says, Omni-Man is similar to Vegeta later in the comic, but both were dicks in their earlier appearances. Yikes.
The border. Men work outside. Men are on the...
Did you know women are incapable of working outside? That's pretty impressive. When I try and leave my house, there's a force field. It prevents me. That started after I came out.
It's been... It was difficult because, like, I'm still not out to my dad, so, like, I had to, like, just, like, shatter through it. Like, I had to do, like a One Punch Man style punch and just, like, shatter through the force field.
Tucker White says, well, I'm convinced, grabs club. Thag hungry, bonks Hannah and Rin. Get in kitchen and make many sandwich for chat. If I'm making a sandwich, I'm eating it.
Apparently, the Chud in my chat is in a call with 4 other people here.
Okay.
Well, you can all... Your mom is dead? Oh, well, I'm sorry she had a shitty son.
Fontuck says, speaking of unintentionally self-reporting yourself as a fascist through praising the villains, there's a lot in the Star Wars lore community praising the Empire for being humanity first. Very thin veil. I know. Cool Cat says, Old Fashioned is a movie reviewed by the Bible Reloaded channel. You should check them out. You might like them. I doubt it. They seem like dicks. Big Sweet Demon.
I don't know. Especially that, like, that Jake fella, he kind of seems like a real ass. He seems like an actual snake.
Big Sweet Demon says, my mom every time she visits my house. Wow, these trees are really overgrown. Let me just prune a bit. Spends the next 5 hours in the Florida sun uprooting my trees at 68 years old.
Apparently one of us laughs like High Five Ghost from Regular Show, but I don't know.
I've never seen Regular Show.
I haven't in a long time. I don't remember what High Five Ghost sounds like, but I don't know who he's talking about because I feel like we both kind of... You'll find it.
High Five Ghost laugh? Can I find this? I don't want to get DMCA'd by Cartoon Network, so never mind.
I mean,
Ouch.
listen, Chuds, you're feel free. What will really show me that you are correct and I am indeed a man is to tier 3 subscribe. That'll really fuck with me.
That's true. Fun fact: every time you subscribe to a trans woman on Twitch, our peens get bigger. So, do that.
Yeah, that would really fuck with me.
Skirts. Women are in the inskirts. Women are in skirts. They're in the home, right? That's where they belong. They don't belong racking up hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt at university for some bullshit job. Middle management telling a bunch of simps what to do.
Your employees are simps now? That's an interesting way to categorize sort of a hierarchical workforce.
Marok Benia, thank you for gifting a sub to Scoosh, who's one of the trolls. Who's one of the Chuds.
BW's Crochet subscribed for 2 months, says, "For the peen!" Thank you.
Right? It's unbecoming and it's unnecessary. Men can do it. And there will be a time when women will be valued for what they do best. Relationships, family, children, home, nurturing, right? These are beautiful things. These are great things. There's nothing oppressive about it. And
There is if you oppress people and force them into those roles. It's not that those actions themselves are oppression, but forcing people into them, or frankly, any role, is oppressive. You could say the opposite. Like, let's say we lived in an alternate universe where it was the opposite, and traditionally men stayed at home and took care of the kids and women went out in the workforce. That, as a social construct, would also be oppressive in some way. Forcing anyone because of some unchosen characteristic, whether it's their, like, race or gender identity or sexual, why am I not thinking of the word? Preferences, whatever a thing is about you, you should not be put in a box and forced into certain things because of it.
Like, you can, like, alright, take Girl Defined.
Sure.
For example, they're both very, like, they stay at home and their totally straight husbands go out and do the working.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't go to conversion camp. Yeah, I think one of them did, but
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But yeah, like if they want to do that, if they want to stay at home and be like an at-home wife who stays home and takes care of the kids, you can do that. I have no problem with her choosing to do that.
Yep.
But if somebody else doesn't want to do that, they can do that as well.
Agreed. Tucker White says, "But Elliot, how do companies make money if they don't have women to underpay?" And Mike says, what ethnicity is Elliot? Because if he wasn't white, the good old days wouldn't like him. I don't know, and I don't care. But we already touched on the subject of, like, weird conservative regressive right-wingers who are not, like, white Protestant men, and how it's very strange.
that way men can go and do what we do best, which is work, right? Stop getting in our way. Stay home. Done.
Yo, it's your bro, Elliot.
Jesus Christ. I hate Elliot so much.
That shit or die trying.
Yeah, he's doing all sorts of the YouTube, what do they call them, minis or shorts? YouTube shorts, I think they call them. They're trying to get on the TikTok game. So they've been doing tons of shorts on YouTube, and Elliot has been getting in on this.
Go to the gym, right? When you go to the gym, what do? You challenge yourself. The weight's getting a little heavy on your back. Well, what do? If you pick up a barbell, if a coach says, hey, throw some extra plates on there, what are you going to do? You're going to whine and cry and feel bad about yourself because, oh, I've never done this weight before. I've never lifted this before. It feels very heavy on my back. Or you're going to say, fuck it. Ah! And then lift it. Lift that shit. Lift that shit or die trying. And it's the same thing in life, bro. Lift that shit or die trying. You go to...
I feel like that's a good way to get a hernia or a back injury.
Yeah, for the record, chat, if any of you are into going to the gym, as you can tell, I very much am with how muscular and fit I am. Don't strain yourself. It's it is actually more beneficial to do more reps at a lower weight than less reps at a higher weight. So,
But then
it's
how
more
are you gonna show how big of a dick you have in the gym if you just do high reps? No, you gotta hurt yourself and scream.
just go, "Argh," and then you just hear like a crack, and like they just like the weights just hit the ground.
But for that 1 second, you're the manliest man in Mantown, okay? Nick says, risking serious injury to own the libs. Fellas, is proper weightlifting technique gay? So that's Elliot. That's what he's up to. Being the same as he always is.
Get rid of the chuds. All right, we'll pick one.
Are we gonna play musical chuds? Are we gonna pick one of the chuds to get rid of?
All right. Whoever says the next dumbest thing is getting banned. I haven't been paying attention to what they say, so.
You're very patient with them. I fuck with them for a little bit, and then I just ban
Fuck
them.
you, I'm staying. No, you're not.
There goes one. Okay. Nick says, I mean, you could show your actual dick, but you'd get yeeted faster than Steven Crowder. True.
That was my favorite one. It was like, nah, fuck you, I'm staying. Man. God.
Alright, what do you want to watch next? Ugh.
Should we take a peep at the, That was pretty funny, to be honest. Yeah, I'm a trans woman. I'm just objectively funnier than cis men and cis women, so you should give me money. And also give Hannah money.
Yep.
Should we take a peek at the Sargon and
Oh, Jesus.
boy?
This is so
Alright.
bad.
So
There's no way I can
had
get
night-
them both in frame reasonably, so we're gonna hold on, let me. Is that a middle ground? That's close enough, I guess.
yeah, sure, good enough.
The top of Sargon's head is a little cut off, but that's fine. He doesn't use his brain anyway, so it's accurate. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, just do negatives. It's starting from a high weight and doing more reps with progressively less weight. It helps tone.
So apparently he put in an unban request. Okay. If you're his friend, you gift a tier 3 sub, and then I'll check it. So he can Venmo you the $25. So then I'll check it, and if you gift like 2 tier 3 subs, I'll just approve it, and then he'll say some dumb shit and probably get banned again. But Ringet mods, listen. I've modded like 4 people, and then they just stopped showing up. Tell Baja to show up. She's a mod.
Von Tuck says there should be a lefty streamer that wears bedazzled holsters as their thing to make fun of Crowder. Any takers, Hannah, Rin? I'm good. Bedazzled shit. I don't think it's my style.
No, there's some things that have like a little jewel at the end that could be cool, but like I'll leave that up for interpretation as to what I mean.
Sky Comet Fallen says Sargon and Jeremy. We got a 2-for-1 deal. All right.
So
did we want to start at the beginning and then have people pick timestamps, or did we want to just start with the timestamp?
Okay. Let's start at the beginning, and I feel like they'll give like a general summary of what they're doing,
Okay.
and then we'll do timestamps.
Okay. So, chat, what we're going to be doing is watching a little bit, and then every once in a while we're going to ask chat for a timestamp, and you're going to tell us when we should jump to, because this video is 2 hours, 37 minutes long. We're not sitting here for 5 hours watching this and pausing and making fun of them.
Both my windows have blinds on them. I don't know what you're talking about. Somebody said you don't have curtains, the one on the right left. So, but all the windows in this room have blinds. But so I mean, technically you're right. All right, you're just not funny. I've had enough of you. Bye bye.
Did they want to talk about mine? If they have drape humor, we could. Oh wait, drapes aren't funny. Get better material, you fucking hacks. Alright, let's watch this bullshit.
Could be live. Perhaps. There it is. Hey. Okay. We'll give everyone a few minutes to, pop in.
Can I just point out that Sargon is wearing a shirt that says, "Thou shalt not sin"? Big Sweet Demon, thanks for subscribing at tier 3. Appreciate it.
Get settled.
I'm waiting for YouTube to bring up the stream for me.
Is threatening someone with sexual assault not a sin? Because Sargon did that pretty famously during his UKIP election. Actually,
It depends. Were they a woman?
it
'Cause if they were
was a
it
woman.
doesn't-
It was a woman. And to clarify,
that-
specifically he said, "I wouldn't even R-word you." So I guess the opposite of threatening that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he did that.
Yep! And he tanked UKIP. Thanks, Sargon. Appreciate it.
Ethics Dave, thank you for the follow.
Big Sweet Demon with 300 bits says it's payment for my concessions for this exciting episode of Pinky and the Brain. And Nick says, I thought Sargon's shirt said, "Thou shalt not go to bat for." Meaning that's what my replacement for the S word. That's a no-no on Twitch.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
This is cursed. This is like a cursed video.
Like,
There we go.
like, look at this. If you come on over to the Altered Ring stream, and as on the Hannah Reloaded stream as well, we got pro overlays. Look at this, and we do this live all the time, so we know what we're doing. But this, look at this. Half their screen is cut off on the right-hand side. They're both like still trying to figure shit out live. Just like get that shit done before.
Unprofessional. Their net worth combined is over $1 million, and this is what they're doing with their lives. This is ridiculous. Kirthan with 200 bits becomes a stream boss. Thank you.
Okay.
Wait, is Carl's... Let me look. Last time I checked, Carl's net worth was like $700 million. Ish. Oh, it's gone up. It's more than doubled. He's worth $2 million now.
Yeah, I don't get how, because he has like channels that are just kind of like plummeting.
Yeah, I would imagine it's an investment thing, because after a certain point, like, he did have $700,000 the last time I checked, which is probably this article, last updated May 2019. Probably investment stuff. Just a guess, though. Because his YouTube channels are doing shit, even his new Lotus Eater stuff.
Yeah, like I've looked at it. He has like half the subs that he used to have on his other channels.
Yeah.
So we'll let people kind of funnel in. So let's start with some boomer chat here. How's the weather there, bud?
Mild actually. Global warming's great for Britain.
Yeah.
We don't have very good temperatures generally, so it's always nice to get a bit of an improvement. I'm starting to think it might be a Russian plot, to be honest.
It's possible, and a Russian what's the word Kimmel used? Agitator or something like that.
Yeah.
It's currently a single degree here. One unit of temperature. So it's Fahrenheit, so it'd be what, 30 below for you? Is that how it goes? Is it Celsius minus 32 off Fahrenheit? Is that how it works?
I would have to use some internet calculator hand.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a ratio, isn't it? It's not like just like
Yeah.
Fahrenheit minus 32. It's a ratio. You have to like be like, okay, it's this. You got to multiply it by this. Unless I'm the stupid one. I don't know. Baja's probably smacking her
It's-
face somewhere.
Yeah, Baja, you're smart. You have like at least like 3 IQ, which is probably more than I have.
9/5, someone is saying. I think he's just confusing the fact that freezing is
There's a
0.
formula.
I think he's confusing the fact that 0 Celsius is freezing, whereas in Fahrenheit it's like 32, and he doesn't know how to figure that out. 5/9. Okay. Tucker White says, I'm tempted to grab a Bible and track the sins Sargon commits in this video alone.
Like, yeah. Do we want to skip past some of like the
Yeah,
small
I'll
talk they're
skip
gonna have?
this shit.
And it's like, yes, how can you get results? Well, it seems that sugar is actually really kind of a drug.
Yeah.
both denounce violence and all forms.
I'm only reading words.
All right, fuck it. Someone give us a timestamp.
All right.
Someone in Altered Rin's chat, give a timestamp, and we'll go with that timestamp.
Okay, yeah. Somebody give a timestamp between 10 minutes and 2 hours and 37 minutes.
2 hours 37. It doesn't go that long.
Well, I'm saying.
Oh
somewhere
no, I'm sorry. You were
numbers.
saying. You're right. I'm sorry. Sidosaurus says Sargon makes me sad. Jeremy also makes me sad. Both together sound like the opposite of a party, just a bunch of sadness. And Nick says sugar is a drug. John Doyle vibes.
Okay. And Stromboli for Wi-Fi sent in 30 bits with a formula for converting. It is 9/5 times the Fahrenheit temperature minus 32 equals Celsius.
Cool.
Okay, and our first timestamp is from H. Barrett. It says 69 minutes, so 1 hour, 9 minutes.
That, really takes zero courage to have, and it's the system that is already in existence. The media has always leaned left, and therefore new media.
That's just objectively untrue, but okay.
Will also lean left in that same way. So I think that the
left-wing media that was definitely against the Iraq War. The left-wing media.
Oh, yeah. All that left-wing media, like Fox News and, I don't know, NBC, like, is kind of like, all that.
I don't know if
media talking about how we need to fix immigration and allow people to come in instead of just kicking them all out.
If they push it so much as embrace and boost it. What do you think?
I'm actually not sure. It seems that I've seen like articles that talk about the different kind of energies that come out of conservatism and liberalism. So liberals, and I don't mean leftists when I say liberals as well. It's important to make that distinction. But liberals tend to be outgoing and open to new ideas, and therefore they're good at inventing things. And conservatives are good at preserving things, which makes sense. And so if you get
they tend to conservatives tend to lose out in the long run.
I've talked about that before too. Being a conservative is inherently dying on a hill that you will cede. Everyone loses in the long term in terms of conservatism. No conservative policy has ever stood the test of time because things change constantly. It's so stupid.
Well, I got 100 biddies from Pointless contributing towards the BAM Scoosh, whatever your stupid ass username is, the Chud, to ban the Chud fund.
Nick, thanks for the 30 bits. I'll take into consideration those timestamps later. And also, the media has always leaned left. Then maybe the right should stop being wrong. And was that it? I believe so.
And apparently, the Chud spent $35 on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That sounds like that could have been 7 subs you could have gifted me.
Yeah, right?
Come on.
Sometimes you just gotta duel, okay?
I'm sure your friend wants to be unbanned, so I'm still waiting on that tier 3.
kind of nexus of people who are creative and are good at inventing things, then you get some really impressive things coming out of it. Why that didn't turn into a sort of conservative prospect is a good question. But I think what it is that the postmodern leftism has been marching through the institutions for a very long time. And the way that it conquers is through manipulation of language. And if you are being attacked linguistically in a way that you are not prepared for, then you find yourself agreeing to things that are actually absurdities when you take the time to really break them down. Like, the definition of woman...
Here we go.
...is actually really important. And nobody thinks about it because who questions what the definition of woman is? And for an average person, if you walked up to someone on the street and was like, "What's the definition of woman?" They'd be like, "I don't know." And if they were pushed, they'd be like, "Well, an adult female, like and that's
Right.
the adult human female. That's the standard dictionary definition of woman." And then if some leftist comes along and goes, "Well, actually, a woman is anyone who identifies as a woman."
The difference here is we're generally talking about a difference between the sociological definition of, like, a woman, and if you're considering, like, the... I don't even know what to call it. The biological representation of a woman when we're talking about someone who's, like, a female at birth in terms of their, I don't know, genitalia or whatever. But we're generally, when we talk about stuff like this, talking about the sociological concept of gender, which is different than sex, which has been explained to these people many times, but whatever.
Did you hear that thunder? Did that get picked up by Discord?
I didn't hear it.
I saw it got picked up by my mic on stream. It scared the shit out of me. But
They'd be like, "Oh, okay," because I mean,
like-
surely.
I've also noticed going up to random people on the street is not a good method of judging anything.
No, people are very stupid. I'm including
Like-
myself in that. If you get a random sampling of people on the street, they're idiots. Have you ever seen a man on the street segment of anyone
yeah.
ever? Everyone
Like-
is stupid.
Like, a lot of those late night shows would do it, where they'd be like, they said this one thing, I saw this one, it was like a map, and it was like asking random people on the street where Iran is, or Iran, or Iraq.
Yeah.
I gotta stop saying it like Iran, I gotta go and fight. But I'm gonna stop saying the Americanized version, but like Iraq. And there was like a large like cluster vaguely in like the Eastern Mediterranean, Middle East area.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was just like a bunch that were just like all over the place. There were some that were in like South America. There were some that were in the United States. There were some that were like in like East Asia. There were some that were in Africa. It was... My friend wants to apologize. He's genuinely sorry. Well, lucky for him, he can still subscribe even though he is banned from chat. So, still waiting.
Sky Comet Fallen says, hashtag, I'm not your genitals. Can we get this trending on Twitter? If I had the power to get things trending on Twitter, I would have used it by now. It's not a secret ability that I've hidden from you people. Nick says, okay, that was definitely thunder on my end. So someone heard it.
Yeah, my chat heard it.
Identification comes into it somewhere. They don't really know. And if they're being told, "Oh, actually, that means you're a bigot if you disagree with this definition," they don't have a heavy investment in this. And so they've
Apathy
already
is a
lost
very, very important way, a very important tool to controlling people, or even people's natural inclination to avoid conflict. This is how a lot of power is put together.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it apathy necessarily. I'd just call it
Maybe indifference.
a kind of
How dare people not care that... What I'm getting from this is they're basically upset that a large portion of people, when they hear trans people or allies be like, hey, I know that traditionally this has been how people have considered people men or women, but this is what trans people are, this is how trans people self-identify, and most people are just like, oh, okay, cool, whatever, doesn't affect me, don't care, and they seem upset about it? Like, like it's a nefarious scheme to make people not give a shit. It's not. You okay?
Yeah.
You just keep looking
yeah, my mom
around
just came in.
suspiciously.
My mom just came in
Oh.
for a second, and also like my lights flickered for a second. So if I do drop out, my internet or power may have like surged and gone out. So
Okay.
I will, if I'm not back in like a couple minutes, just assume something went out, and you can continue going in my chat. Everyone, if I disappear, go watch Hannah.
Sounds
She's pretty cool, if I do say so myself. And Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, if you could have gotten anything trending on Twitter, wouldn't have been Stephen Baldwin. That was one of the Baldwins that was in like the Christian movies where they're trying to ban Christmas.
Yeah. Stephen Baldwin's the very Christian one. He's into QAnon now.
Oh, is he? That's exciting.
Tucker White says, to find out what a woman is, let's go right now to Ding Dong McNixon. I'm sorry. Let's go right now to Ding Dong Mc69PP for an answer. I'm very immature. I laughed at that.
A vulnerability, right? If you look at it that way, because if you're looking to sort of leverage open a sort of cultural space, and you want to do it via changing the definition of what gender is, well, there are very few people who are actually like gender warriors for the patriarchy, for the
Gender has been used in its current use in academia, in sociology, for like a really long period of time. It's only somewhat recently come into the public consciousness and the popular lexicon, but it's not new. And by the way, the definitions of words changes all the time. Not a big deal. It's normal. Sky Comet Fallen says, it's like Poop Girl asking people about urinals in women's bathrooms. Everyone she talked to went, sure, whatever. She was so mad. I know. They're mad that other people...
Funny.
Sorry, what?
That video was so funny because, like, most people, like, did not get what she was talking about. Like, didn't even get, like, that she was trying to, like, allude to trans people.
Sure.
They were just like, I guess I don't really care.
That's my second favorite Caitlin Bennett video, the first one being the time she got run off that college campus. That was great.
I think that one beats out that other video. 'Cause that one just got me pissed off. Just because I was like, if I was there, I would have... there was a decent chance I would have thrown something at her.
In Minecraft, in Fortnite, in...
It would have been a soft object, like
Okay.
a roll of toilet paper or a diaper.
Diapers, probably
Which-
thematically what you go with.
Yeah, but then it's like you got to get a whole pack, and like you can't just get one, unless I get like a free sample and I'm like prepped with like my singular Caitlin Bennett diaper.
It's a diaper. You just carry around a diaper and a can of soup for your family, and those are the two things you have.
for the,
Yeah.
you know, there are two genders. There are very few people like that. Most people are kind of live and let live, right? And most people don't spend a huge amount of time thinking about the subject at all. And so you find yourself, actually, there's no resistance to me pushing forward a definition that actually doesn't even make sense in English. Like, it's a recursive...
I don't even understand what he means by that. What do you mean it doesn't make sense in English? If you want to determine someone's, like, I guess if we're using the term sex the way he wants to, which is, like, to identify one's genitalia, then you have the word sex, I guess. And if you want to talk about how someone identifies and how they present, typically you have gender or gender expression.
Yeah, like, and here's the they do this a lot with like trans people. Be like, oh, you think that sex doesn't exist, blah blah blah. Like, my sex is male.
Sure.
Nothing I can do to change that. That's just how it is. I gotta live with it. It sucks, but you know, I can't do anything about it.
I almost feel like some of the disconnect comes from right-wing people not understanding that we understand that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
like,
what they think we think based on the way they talk about us. Like, when I say, like, I'm a woman, and I, you know, I'm like, I'm a trans woman, what do they think I think? Because I recognize I was born, like, with a penis. I'm just not a fan of that. And I'm taking a lot of steps in order to try and make myself more comfortable with myself. It's that simple, and I'm simply asking, I'm more comfortable being identified this way. Please do so.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It just feels like a weird way for them to try and get around saying, well, I recognize all of that, but I think you're gross, so no.
I think it's icky.
Yeah.
Like, I've gotten in a few Twitter back and forths with Bryson Gray as of late. And
he's so easy to bait too. You say anything to him and he'll respond.
And like he's so bad at responding.
Oh yeah, he's an idiot.
He was like, where is it? Where is it? I'm trying to find it. Because it was before the Young Earth creationists. that I got in a Twitter argument with, and that was fun. Here it is. Why do you have pronouns opposite of what you are? That was his reply to me.
Mm-hmm.
But like the question, so like originally it started with like him tweeting, he's like, I just want actual Christian conservative to run for office. And I was like, has it ever occurred to you that just maybe that view isn't popular enough for them to actually like significantly win any election?
Yeah.
And then he was like, his response was, why do you call yourself an Antifa soldier? Because in my bio,
Mm-hmm.
I have cybernetic Antifa super soldier. So obviously,
Joke.
it's obviously serious, and
Yeah.
I am a cybernetic Antifa super soldier.
Yeah. That's
And
what
then I
happens when you
replied
start
with-
taking the hormones. It has nanites in it, and it like makes your bones really dense, like
Yeah,
Wolverine.
Like I can't do it on stream because you can't show weapons on stream. But, like my arm opens up, and I have like a Samus style cannon
Yeah.
that I can like shoot energy blasts out of. It's
That's
pretty cool.
My arms
But
just turn
sadly,
into
I can't show it on
swords.
Twitch. Oh, that's. I thought about doing that, but like, I know how to use like actual swords, so I'm just like I can just use like a real sword.
Sure.
And then his response to that was, "Why do you have pronouns opposite of what you are?" And just like completely ignoring the fact that I was like, "It's a joke. Did you not see the cybernetic part?"
Mhm.
And
Killjoy says, "I know
dumb.
Oh, sorry, you were talking. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying he's dumb.
Yes. Killjoy says, I know Jeremy doesn't care about the political ramifications of talking to Sargon, but Sargon is continually banned from YouTube. Isn't this putting his livelihood at risk, being kicked off YouTube? Not necessarily. I don't know when this was, but I think it was a couple of years ago. You're not necessarily going to get banned for that. It just sort of depends. Like, Sargon has current channels that he shows up on. They're just not his original channels.
Yeah, and I think he's more demonetized than banned.
Yeah, that's true.
'Cause
He's
Akkad Daily
demonetized.
is still up.
Yep.
But I know his original channel is completely demonetized. I think Akkad Daily is. I think he still streams on it occasionally,
Mhm.
which I think he can still get like super chats and like donations.
Sure.
I don't know if he can get super chats, but he can get like donations through like another party
Yeah.
software. And then he started 2 channels with the Lotus Eaters, one of which is just a promo for like their premium thing,
Mm-hmm.
which that stopped showing up in the searches. So I think that may have gotten like demonetized or something, or like because all of a sudden one day it just like stopped showing up in like the searches. You would search Lotus Eaters and like the 2 channels would show up, and then just the one started showing up.
I'm honestly, this is the first time I've covered Sargon in months and months and months, and it seems like he's just become less and less relevant to the general, like, discourse, and I'm so happy about it, because he's such a dick.
Yeah, he's like, I feel like now at this point he's just kind of going through the motions. He
Yeah.
doesn't really, like, he knows he's becoming increasingly irrelevant,
Yeah.
and there's nothing he can really do about it. Like, now he has his podcast with Milk Boy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, and some videos are just Milk Boy, just being like, yeah, can you believe this crazy thing the SJWs believe? Oh my god, they're so stupid. Blah, 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 blah. And like, that's it. It's like he's been recycling the same formula. Like, at least some of the other Chuds have kind of like changed up their video content.
Yeah.
But like, Sargon's just like, crazy SJW does this thing. Oh my god, they're so dumb. Like, owned. And it's like, that kind of content doesn't work anymore.
No, not 2013. Sky Comet Fallen says, male doesn't equal man, male equals has Y chromosome, nature makes male women androgen insensitivity syndrome. It gets complicated with the reality because there are various conditions that make people, how do I even explain this? There are some people with XX chromosomes who biologically present very traditionally masculine, and we have the opposite. It's just, It's a gray area in a lot of places. It's very weird. Nick says, to be fair, he probably doesn't know what humor is, considering you're not making fun of marginalized groups, Rin.
And, like, there's a decent chance that there are people who are in the chat right now, in my chat or your chat, who are intersex and completely unaware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of how, like, sometimes it just doesn't present itself in, like, any significant way.
Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, technically Antifa broke up the beer hall putsch. Take that, modern Nazis. I mean, Antifa also stopped the Nazis. Basically, the Allies were anti-fascists. If for only practicality reasons. Alright, let's continue.
Definition, it's self-referencing. So a woman is anyone who identifies as a woman, but if the definition of woman is included in itself, you have this recursive sentence.
Because we're talking about the gender identifier markers that sociologically are typical traditionally to femininity within the particular culture you're talking about. Does that make sense? Was that series of words
like
comprehensible?
Like, it's like, if I say this object is red, like, oh, what does that mean? It means this object is reflecting the light that we perceive as the color red. Like, it's recursive, but like, because of like the nature of it, like, there's no way for it to like not be recursive.
That never finishes, and so that's not coherent, you know. So that's not the case, you know, because you're not actually giving any content.
Sargon, but you can't word your way out of trans people existing, which is kind of what it feels like what you're doing right now. Our current understanding of like gender identity, gender expression is still evolving, right? It's better than it has been, but it's still evolving in the way that our language deals with these new understandings of how people view themselves, how they want others to view themselves. We're still coming to terms with that as a civilization, and as we do that, language is going to evolve as it has throughout all of human history. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with exploring these concepts and trying to come to definitions that might not be entirely sensible to you at the moment in the journey of trying to find ways of understanding them that are universal. Does that make sense?
I think so.
I'm just rambling at this point. I don't know. Old Dice, thanks for subscribing for 5 months. Tucker says, I'm ashamed I used to be a fan of Sargon. Thankfully, he stupidly showed his hand early on after Trump won in 2016 that I finally started to see through his fallacious arguments. Otherwise, I might be completely fallen down the anti-SJW rabbit hole. I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, like, I used to watch Sargon, but, like, man, imagine, like, having Sargon on your YouTube channel. That would be pretty cringe.
Who would ever do that? That would be just the
know.
worst.
That person must be real dumb to do that.
For the record, I didn't watch Sargon. Jake picked him. Jake picked the guests for the Chick Treks. That's not on me. How's the bottom of the bus look, Jake?
Yeah,
I put a disclaimer on that video. I want to delete it, but Jake doesn't want to delete it. So, but
yeah, I understand
disclaimer.
not wanting to delete it, but like, yeah, I think I saw the stream where you like edited the description live on stream. But see, now the real question is, when are you gonna have altered Rin on for a change?
That's a good question. I gotta actually start recording with Jake regularly again, and then we can figure that out. Bellum Guardian says, of course Sargon and Jeremy are talking about specifically trans women because they're easier to scaremonger with. The trans mask erasure continues. Mike Mack says... No, oh, sorry,
trans men don't exist.
No, clearly.
Silly. Like, what are you thinking?
Unless we're going to try and view them as victims that are just secretly women that have been tricked by the trans ideology, like that one author.
True.
She wrote, what was that? The Seduction of the Innocent or something? I don't remember what the fuck her name is.
It was the picture with like the hole in like a kid's stomach.
Mike Mack says, black people weren't viewed as human, so by his logic, black people aren't human. Yeah, it's almost like our sociological definitions change to be more inclusive. Jesus Christ. Abby Schreier. Thank you, that's the name. Irreversible damage, that's what it was called. My bad.
Oh, that's it.
To the word woman.
No, I said Seduction of the Innocent is the book that was written by a psychologist, I think in the 1950s, to demonize comic books. So, wrong on my part.
You know, an adult human female, these are three different things that have their own
Alright, does anyone else want to pick a timestamp? Let's do my chat this time, because we get it.
Yeah.
Someone do a timestamp. We're at 1:12 right now. So between 1:12 and 2 hours 37 minutes.
Sargon, if I just word being trans in a confusing enough way, I will have proved you can't really be trans.
Hour
Damn,
37? Someone says hour 37. Okay.
Oh no. Sargon
imagine.
stepped.
Oh no, is that when Sargon leaves? That's a shame.
Stagnant for a day or two? You think that's okay to drink?
Sargon comes back, so.
Oh, thank God Sargon comes back. I would have been worried.
Probably, huh? I would imagine.
But speaking of Jeremy, I have to go take a pee break.
Okay, you do that.
And I'm not going to do it on the floor.
That's
so,
good. That's a good strategy.
So I will leave my chat with you in your hands.
Oh, that's a bad
Chat.
call. I'm very irresponsible.
Well, my chat is very irresponsible. Chat, don't burn down chat. NASA Lied is in charge.
Oh, he's drinking the water. Okay. Comedy and then awkward silence. That's what I'm gonna... That's the name. If I ever write an autobiography, that's it. Comedy and then awkward silence. I know you did the Y hole thing, Baja. I just didn't talk about it.
Alright. Let's read chat here. James Cording saw you had some...
How many views does Jeremy get on his Twitch channel? We can log. Probably a decent amount. He's got a pretty big YouTube following. It doesn't always translate, but there's some sort of correlation often. Oh god, does he just go by the quartering? He's got 12,500 followers. Interesting, he doesn't save his VODs. Wonder why.
King Shocks, what size?
He probably doesn't save his VODs because of the, pee incident and the drunk incident, which he got dunked on for.
Lift you have on your truck and tires?
That was so funny. Guys, remember that one time he was super drunk and he was begging for subs? He's like, if you can just get me to 1,000 subscribers. Which is hilarious because Jeremy has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube and I have more active Twitch subscribers than he does, it appears. Which is pretty funny.
Whatever is standard on the... It's a 2018 Raptor. So
Was that the last time he streamed on Twitch? That's pretty funny if it's true.
it's all standard. 28s, I think? 28-inch tires, does that sound right? Stop defending CDPR? I don't think I am. Joshua, loved your videos quoting on the latest Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Yeah, I saw they removed my thumbnail. I didn't bother to replace it. Boneless chicken wings are not boneless chicken wings. They are chicken nuggets.
They're delicious chicken nuggets. boneless all the way.
Not 20, it's more like 22s. I don't even know. I'm not like into factory on a Raptor is 34s. There you go. Whatever's factory. I've had it. Here's a funny story about my truck. I bought it in the summer of 2018, brand new, in Louisville, Kentucky. Drove it home, and now 3 years later, I don't even have 10,000 miles on it. I don't go anywhere.
That makes sense.
Not saying, by the way, not saying I don't love boneless chicken wings, but they're just chicken nuggets. George says after her shoes were stolen, AOC started an OnlyFeed account. Probably true.
Why did you leave me here with just Jeremy's rambling? This is not okay.
Well, listen, you should. It's not my fault. Blame the Spyro.
No, I blame you.
How dare you? And listen, my chat is on fire, and NASA Lied is in big trouble. I don't know if you know, but NASA Lied is our resident flat earther in the chat.
Like, for reals.
Sure.
Sure.
We'll keep up the facade. You tried your best. They don't listen. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. NASA Lied did yell at the people who were starting the fire, so you're not entirely in trouble.
Blue Love Stuff says they're chicken tenders. A chicken nugget is made from ground chicken and only ground chicken. I'm very passionate about this topic. Garo the Khajiit says boneless wings are not nuggets. They're still cuts of meat. Nuggets are shaped from meat slurry. And Honeybee says, you know you're old when you were around for Butter Nips and Chick Tract, Sargon. Yikes. Still watch and love your shows. I'm glad you've evolved along with me, because holy shit, I used to be bad. Maybe I still am. Maybe in another 10 years I'll look back at current me and be really embarrassed. Maybe my life is just a series of being embarrassed about my previous selves.
Yeah, like, I always think, like, will I ever, like, get a clip of me, like, in the future and be like, oh, no. Like, I'd like to hope that I won't be entirely embarrassed, but, like, who knows?
In my experience, you always get embarrassed. But that's a good thing. It means you're improving, probably.
Hopefully. Yeah, in each of our chats, press 1 if we have both improved since we first started doing this.
Press 2 if we're worse.
Yeah, press 2 if we're worse. Press 3 if the two of us combined is the thing that makes it worse. You're just like two idiots with ADHD.
Oh, Baja said 2! The betrayal! Oh, God.
At least, alright, I can at least feel better that Baja didn't put 3. Because, like, then I at least know that I am not responsible for it.
No, that's on me. That's on me. I'm just trash. Anyway.
If you haven't, this is a good chance to, if you haven't already subscribed. So somebody said, Carl, do you think there's hope for public education in the West? I'm a conservative history teacher surrounded by left-wing activist radicals.
I'm not optimistic. The thing that has to happen if we want to see sanity restored to the education system is conservatives have to do what the left did. The left completed their long march through the institutions.
Yep.
So if you're a conservative, you're thinking, well, I can go into the private sphere and make lots of money. You can.
It's so weird to me to imagine that Sargon and people like him think that, like, leftists or even just liberals got together and were like, we're going to get into all the institutions, and not just that in institutions like academia, like, positions get refined over time by experimentation and thought and well thought out like research, and that the conclusions they came to just happened to be closer to the left-leaning positions. It can't be that the right is wrong. It has to be that there's a cabal of neo-Marxist leftists trying to destroy the world.
Yeah, they see the correlation between more education and being more on the left as the education is brainwashing them into being on the left, not just if you learn more about how the world works, you tend to be on the left because it's more correct.
I feel like a backlash of that is part of the reason we have so many ridiculous shit going on right now, like Flat Earth, anti-vax, ridiculous QAnon conspiracy theories. It's the rejection of expertise, because expertise doesn't tell them what they want to hear, and what they want to hear is right-wing talking points that just don't stand up to scrutiny. It's messed up.
And Marok Benioff wanted me to tell Hana, spelled Hanna, so I'm going to pronounce it differently, that she is lovely trash. So I don't know who this Hana person is.
Lily Lovestuff says, if Sargon is such a racist sack of shit, then why does he take his username from an ancient Mesopotamian king? And Mike Mack says, don't many conservatives hate science and even now history? Yeah, they do. Sidosaurus says, I only discovered the Bible Reloaded stuff a couple of years ago during a depressive episode, and started watching from the first episode instead of the newer videos. And by the time I made it to the most recent stuff, you'd come out, and I was like, when did this happen? I did see a definite evolution in your content since I watched it, one after the other, and then repeating the chick track several times. I loved the salty shit, helped me stay sane during that time. Well, I'm glad.
That stuff was great. Like, I wanted to go back and watch some of, like, the older stuff, like, a lot of the, like, the Bible study stuff. But, like, now it's kind of weird. Yeah. Like, I know you don't have a problem with, like, that stuff being there before you were out and stuff. Yeah. But, like, it's just weird seeing it, because it's almost like that's just a different person with Jake.
I don't watch that stuff just because it makes me uncomfortable. I don't care if other people do. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, I'm the same with, like, pictures of me from, like, back, I don't know, because it was, like, I don't know. Like, all, like, looking at, like, kid pictures of me, it's like, no thanks.
Sky Comet Fallen says, leftists were Bond villains, only more stoned.
Can. Also, that means that leftists are going to be teaching your kids.
Yep.
And so your options are to quit and go make money and then see your children become communists, or to not make as...
Everything I don't like is communism. If it's not fascism, it's communism.
...much money as you wanted to make, but make sure that the future generations are not communists. And this is something...
The communist thing is the weirdest boogeyman, because communists have not had any sort of political foothold in America since, like, the 1920s? It's been, like, a century? And even when we're talking about the, like, the most lefty people, it's usually people like us online, and most people like us don't even self-define as, like, communist. It'll be, like, democratic socialist or something along those lines, which is not communism.
Like, I identify as, like, anarcho-commie, but, like...
Sure, that's fine, but,
that's, like, like, way after I'm dead from, like, whatever it is.
I just don't understand why they define... Like, they'll look at Biden and be like, Biden is ushering in communism. And I just don't understand what they think the word means.
Like, I forget where I heard it. I don't know if it was, like, yours or Jake's stream or somebody's, but I heard that AOC, the name, like, her name is more recognizable in right-wing circles than left-wing circles because she's, like, the boogeyman. Like, because Fox News covers her so much.
Probably true. Big Sweet Demon says, Marjorie Taylor Greene saying corporate communism unironically multiple times drives me to drink.
Also, I wanted, before I forget, this is off topic, but for voice training stuff, did you have somebody who was like, who you paid money to help you with it, or did you just kind of do it and make your way?
I had someone who offered to help me with it for free, and they did for a while. But then mostly just doing stuff on my own,
Okay.
or with Baja. The big thing is Baja pushing me to try and do it. I still think I sound like shit, but you know.
I think you've gotten better. There was that period of time where like you were first starting to do it,
Mhm.
where I think you sounded like a Valley girl,
Yeah.
and it was, you could tell it was very forced. But I feel like now you've gotten in a comfortable place that I think sounds good.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Nick says, this kind of rhetoric is why Anders Breivik did what he did, so anyone whining about communists can fuck right off.
I think conservatives have to start thinking about.
There's a third option, though, that if you make enough money, you can send your kid to private school.
Yes, but do you have a guarantee?
Well, no. And the question was, to be fair, the question was about public school.
Public schools, yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think public school has a bright future at all, especially
No.
when we just had, I mean, they're already what is the stupid race-based theory and stuff, like Biden put that right
race
back
theory.
in the first chance he could.
Race-based
And
theory.
it's
Oh my god.
And they're like a weird thing of like critical race theory, but none of them can tell you what critical race theory is.
No. It's so stupid.
And Magnetara said, both your voices sound lovely. Thank you. And I meant to mention this earlier, but it was very jarring, but also like hilarious when it was on one of the Hannah and Jake streams where like you went back down to like your like dude bro voice.
What, like talking like this? If I just talk like this,
Stop.
it's weird. That seems to make people viscerally uncomfortable, and I kind of like it.
Like I had the same reaction Jake had where I was like, don't do that ever again. It's terrifying.
Baja in the other room yelled at me to stop.
What's the matter, Baja? Do you not like when we talk like this? Should we just I know you can hear me, Baja. Oh, listen, Baja. Do I look like I know what a JPEG is?
Oh,
I'm just
that's
here trying to sell some propane. It's kind of upsetting because I can do a pretty good Hank Hill voice despite never seeing a single episode. of
that's
Hank
really
Hill.
good. That's really good. Baja also yelled at me that she hates it, so...
Well, you know what, Baja? I think you need to go invest in some propane to start grilling some real burgers. None of that vegan bullshit.
Can you do me a
Tired of all you
favor?
liberal-
Can you say, dang it, Baja, that girl ain't right?
Dang it, Baja. That girl ain't right.
Yes. You gotta teach me how to do that. Austiner, thank you for 50 bits, says, my stomach hurts.
Doodleverse said, whoa, that took me by surprise.
Fruity Jack, thanks for following.
Yeah, I just started doing the, like, do I look like I know what a JPEG is? I just want a picture of a goddamn hot dog. Like the meme, and then I just figured it out. I sell cocaine and cocaine accessories.
That's pretty good. Alright, I'm gonna jump ahead to a random timestamp because I don't want to hear them talk about critical race theory. I don't care.
They don't know what it is, so it's okay.
Oh, are they talking about the riot now?
Oh boy.
Because they're taking the position of the kings, the autocratic king, thinks that his government is instituted by God. I mean, that's literally the perspective. And so saying, "Oh, this is sacred," no, it's not. You goddamn tyrants. You
Well,
know?
and by the way, this would be a good time to remind people, Carl's channel is linked in the description below.
Jeremy gets mad when you call him a right-winger, by the way. Does anyone else find that hilarious, that anytime Jeremy gets called right-wing, he's like, I'm not right-wing. Why am I right? How am I right wing?
Yeah. And like Sargon will do the same thing. He's like, I'm a classical liberal. I smell my own farts and shot in my nose. Like, classical liberal. It's like, oh, so, like by his own definition, he would have been liberal like 30 years ago.
I don't even
So,
know if
which
he
would
can
be
say,
conservative now.
I don't even know if he would say 30 years ago. I think he'd say like 60 or 70 years ago.
He would have been a progressive in like maybe 1920s Germany.
Sure.
Head over there to Lotus Eaters while we're talking here and drop them a subscribe. See what they're all about. Check out lotuseaters.com too for more of his wacky UK zaniness.
I don't think I've ever considered describing UKIP candidate Carl Benjamin as wacky, zany UK antics. Jesus.
See, now for that, you go to the mightiest Quinn, where they drink copious amounts of tea all the time, and don't let them tell you any different.
We talk about this kind of thing a lot because
Yeah.
this I think the real problems that civilization is facing, and America's at the forefront of it, definitely.
Well, and this transitions okayly into and then I don't know how you are in time, but maybe another 15 minutes or something. Okay. Okay.
Well, however long you want. I know I put aside my Saturday evening to hang out with you. So.
Okay. Well, so I'll say this. This transitions nicely into the theatrics at the Capitol too. Now, yesterday they had a kumbaya session where we had Rashida Tlaib just crying her eyes out.
Yeah.
This is a woman, by the way, that people forget was drug out, kicking and screaming from a Trump rally. You know, and
What
she's
happened there? I don't know about that.
Yeah, she was screaming at Trump supporters, calling them terrorists.
Which she was clearly vindicated by the actions on the 6th. Right, Jeremy?
Well, you see, she would be if it wasn't Antifa coming in and destroying and pretending to be a bunch of Trump supporters and tricking. But like the thing is like that falls apart. It's like somehow Antifa infiltrated, pretended to be Trump supporters, but then tricked a bunch of well-known Trump supporters into also joining in with what they were doing.
And they drag her. There's video of her getting quote breached the
Leaked.
Capitol too.
Okay. I think I've reached my limit of these two on screen. Otherwise, I'm gonna die.
Rip.
So that's done.
I love when like Jeremy's like Midwestern accent occasionally comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Drag queens was one of them that I remember.
No.
It was when they were discussing. He was discussing the Blue's Clues fiasco.
How long is this Marvel video? Are you familiar with the Marvel movies? Like, do you watch them? Do you know enough
Yeah.
to like? Okay. Do I want to do this?
I haven't seen Black Widow or Loki, but other than that, I am caught up.
Let me see, when did this come out? I don't know if he's gonna... I don't think this is gonna get into specifics of any spoilers for that kind of thing. I could be wrong, though.
I'm not too worried about Black Widow. I'm not super excited for it.
Sure.
It was just kind of like, oh, like I forgot it happened, and then somebody was like, I'm going to go see the Black Widow movie on my story. I was like, oh, wait, I thought that came out like 6 months ago. I just assumed it came out already.
Okay, let's see this video from Nerdrotic called Marvel is a Disaster, Kevin Feige and the MCU, which is the derogatory term that these fandom menace types are calling the MCU because there's women in it.
I thought it was just Sean Connery reading out
MCU. I don't like
Little
those superhero
leafy.
movies. I'm bad at Sean Connery. I can't do voices.
Thank you for the tier 1 sub, you little soul leafy. I feel like you haven't been here in a while. Welcome back. Or maybe you have and you've just been lurking and I'm an idiot. So both are possibilities.
I am Iron Man.
Here's my prediction. They're gonna show this and maybe some action scenes from Marvel, and then they're gonna show some emotional scene from a later Marvel movie and be like, they pussified the MCU! Even though the modern Marvel stuff has just as many fights and action scenes, and the old ones did have, like, dialogue, thoughtful for, like, a Marvel superhero movie character moments, you know what I mean?
Also, like, they're comparing, like, origin stories, which, like, with, like, characters that have been established for several movies.
Mm-hmm.
So the audience knows them.
Yeah.
And an emotional scene with them is gonna be more impactful in, like, the later Avengers movies than, like, Captain America 1.
Yeah.
You just don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
You've got to do better.
Hey, I called it, but it's not even that. It's just, like, scenes of discussion and then Loki getting hit in the balls.
I feel like he was not the first character to get hit in the nuts in an MCU movie.
I actually don't know. Is he?
Like-
Maybe not. Let me look.
I don't remember it happening, but I feel like
There's got to be a website that catalogs, like, nut shots, right? Hold on. I'm going to switch this so...
I was gonna say, I don't know if you want to Google that
Yeah,
on stream.
I know what I'm doing. Doon, doon, doon. Oh, this is comic book Marvel
Okay, so-
nut shots. That's not the same thing. Doon, 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 doon. Either way, I find it funny considering that's like not to again, I'm not going to spoil Loki or anything because I think you should watch it. It's a good show.
Yeah, I plan to watch it.
But, like, that's a moment of humility for Loki. He's, like, learning a lesson there and trying to come to terms with some things. Like, it's a comedy beat, but it's also, like, a thing. It's not just, haha, Loki gets hit in the crotch. It's part of the scene. It's a thing that's happening. The Captain America thing happens... Did you see Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It was very good.
That speech happens after an action scene that takes up most of the episode. And the WandaVision thing, they're very upset about for reasons that I still don't completely understand. The show framed Wanda as a bad guy. She did a bad thing, but it was, I forget her name already. Oh, shoot. What is her name? Rambeau. Monica Rambeau. It's Monica Rambeau, like, sympathizing with her in some way, even though she did a bad thing.
Yeah, it's like saying, hey, I understand why you did the thing you did, but it's still fucked up and you shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Like, and also, as a whole, WandaVision was largely not very action-oriented until, like,
The last
the
episode.
last few episodes. Last, like, 2 episodes, maybe.
Mike Mack says Loki cutting off Sif's hair is part of mythology. True.
Nerdrotic.com.
I don't think there's ever been more synergy between the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Marvel Comics, and that is incredibly bad news. And I think it's high time somebody called out Kevin Feige, so...
Is he gonna shit on Miss Marvel? Because that's hilarious. Do you read comics at all? I don't know.
No, I don't. I read some manga, but
Okay.
I'm a weeb.
I'm a fan of the Marvel comics, and I imagine they're going to shit on this Miss Marvel show quite a bit, and probably the character of Miss Marvel, who's on screen. Miss Marvel's like a really great comic series. I've read at least the first sort of run. The first run happened right before they reboot the universe, but I read it, and it's really good. It reminds me a lot of Spider-Man, and that it deals with a lot of, like, teenage drama, juggling being a teenager, going to high school, with being a superhero. The show will probably be good. The Marvel shows have been good so far, but I'm sure they're going to shit on it because the star's a young woman.
Is it going to be a Disney Plus one as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, like I know the basic like principle of her is she has like the stretchy powers, right?
Yeah.
And it's basically very similar. It's like very similar to like young Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's I'll probably watch it. Like I don't know if she'll be like my favorite superhero, but like
I imagine the show will probably be aimed at teens, if I had to guess, just based on the tone of the comic. It's probably going to be... I would imagine it's not made with our demographic in mind as much as it is, 14 to 18-year-olds. It'll still probably be an entertaining show. I'll still watch it, but I guarantee all these people are going to do nothing but bitch about it, because not only is she a young woman, she's also Muslim, and her family's Muslim, and that comes up a lot in the comic because it has to deal with her going into conflict sometimes with her very conservative Muslim parents, and she's still, Muslim, but she's a little more liberal, less hardline with her religious beliefs, right?
Yeah.
So she's fine with going out and hanging out with a group of teenagers that are boys and girls, let's say, but her parents might not. I don't know.
Yeah. And one thing, like, is because, like, the people who wrote all these comics, like Stan Lee and all these other, they're all kind of, like, for like, weirdos.
Sure.
Like, they were all, like, they weren't, like, Stan Lee, all these other comic book writers, were not, like, the popular, like, demographic growing up. They were kind of all outcasts. And so, like, a lot of that shows up in their comics, that they'll tend to be more liberal. Like, the whole X-Men from the beginning was an allegory for minorities. Like, later on it became more so specifically LGBT people. And, like, they're like, why is Marvel all of a sudden so liberal? And it's like...
Marvel has... since Stan Lee became the editor-in-chief and after, has always been pretty darn progressive. Stan's soapbox sections at the end of various Marvel comics have been pretty... Like, one time in, like, I don't even remember, I think it was, like, the 70s, they had introduced some more black heroes, Black Panther, the Falcon, some other ones, I don't remember specifically. But someone wrote to the editor, who was Stan Lee at the time, and said, like, listen, I'm all for inclusiveness, but isn't it a bit much? Why are you making things so political? And Stan basically wrote a letter back, like, fuck you? Like, really?
Yeah, I remember reading that at some point, and it's like, do they... And also, like, oh God, I don't know where that way.
Yeah.
Point that way. I don't know if it's the same on your screen, but that's where it is for me. So
yeah, that's correct.
But but like, why do they not realize that? Sorry, thunder is getting quite loud. I don't know if you can hear it now.
A little, but not a ton.
Discord's better at kicking out background noise in Streamlabs, but they're not, like, even us, we're probably past, maybe me less so, but we're probably getting past, like, the primary demographic for superhero content. Like, I don't think they're making, like, yeah, we're gonna hit all those mid to late 20s and 30-year-olds. That's
Sure.
gonna be our primary demographic. Yes, no, they're gonna aim for late teens, probably primarily. That's probably their focus.
There's rumors that they're going to be doing Young Avengers, which is going to include some, like, Kamala and some other younger superheroes, so you're probably right. Mike Mack says, why are all the Chuds look the same? The beards need a trim. And Mike Mack says, it's still sad that Monica was skipped over for Carol because Monica was cool in her early run and was the first black female leader of the Avengers. Yeah, I assume they'll go into more of that, considering she's been, reintroduced with powers in WandaVision. Spoilers, I guess.
Well, WandaVision's been out for a while.
Yeah,
so
I think that's
so-
probably fair game. That's probably fine.
Yeah, I am not in Oklahoma. It just happens to coincidentally be. I'm in New York, so it just happens to be raining in both places, I guess.
Here we go. Now, it's been a while since I've mentioned this, but you might not know that I used to own a comic shop in San Francisco for over a decade, one best of the Bay, called the Comic Outpost. And I remember it like it was yesterday, the day Disney bought Marvel, the day Marvel died. I had my staff...
Because clearly, since Disney bought Marvel, it's been doing terribly, and the cultural impact of Marvel has done nothing but shrink since 2009. This is right after Iron Man came out. Marvel's done terribly since Disney bought it.
Let's see, what are the highest grossing films of all time? Oh, what's it? Let's see. All right, yeah, Disney, famous for having none of these. Avatar, Disney has nothing to do with that. Avengers Endgame, 2.7 billion. Wow, Disney has nothing to do with that. Titanic, meh. Star Wars Episode 7, Disney had nothing to do with that. Oh, look, what's this? Avengers Infinity War. Could that be Marvel?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, number 8, The Avengers. Oh, wait, number 11, Avengers. Number 12, Black Panther.
I believe
No
23rd
way.
or 24th, I don't know if it's moved, is also Captain Marvel, which a lot of the chuds really don't like.
Let's see. Oh, number 16, Frozen. There you go. Let's see. Number 20, Iron Man 3. Number 22, Captain America Civil War. Far From Home is 25. Captain Marvel is 26.
Oh, it must have gotten bumped down over time. When it first came out, it was 23. I remember that because I mentioned that in almost every Jeremy video after that because it was very funny.
Yeah. He was convinced it was gonna bomb.
It's gonna bomb. It's gonna be in the top movies of all time.
There, we did a podcast, and we all pretty much agreed that the movies would be great, but the comics would suffer. Now, we're sitting here over a decade later, and we were right, but I didn't think the movies would suffer this quickly. Now, I don't know where this started. It could have been with the fandom, or it could have been with Kevin Feige's handlers. There's been this myth built up around him that he's one of us, that he was a big Marvel fanboy who read the comics when he was a kid.
You were already invested in Marvel Comics.
I knew these types of characters. I didn't know as much as I know now. And the Marvel source material, which I knew some of when I was a kid, I had the...
I'm just going to be real about this, and this annoys me. There's this, in fandoms, especially in comic book fandoms in my experience, there's this fetishization of if a creator like Kevin Feige or some other director didn't grow up reading these comics constantly, then somehow they're unworthy of making an adaptation, which I find so gatekeepy and stupid considering 99% of the population has not read a single Marvel comic. It's fine. What matters
Also,
is
like,
once they're on the project, do they do the research? Do they know sort of the themes that should be prevalent in this? Do they know the sort of popularity and why it's popular? And clearly Kevin Feige and Disney do, because if they didn't, the movies and TV shows wouldn't be the most popular franchise on the planet.
Like, yeah. I have a feeling if he didn't know what he was doing, Avengers Endgame would not be the second highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah, it's actually funny, too, because it was number 1, and then Disney decided to re-release Avatar, which bumped it back up. Malachi the Evil Wizard, thanks for 9 months. Altered Rin, name the stream baby.
Name the stream baby?
Yes.
Thunder. Because there's a lot of thunder right now.
Thunder.
That seems like a cool, edgy name.
Yeah, it's one word, like
Like
The
it.
Crow or Madonna.
Yeah. No last name. Just Thunder.
pajamas, I had the toys, I watched the cartoons. But as I started to read more of the comics, so I went, look, let's just do this.
So the myth of Kevin Feige being a big Marvel fanboy is just that, a myth. He had some pajamas, he owned some toys, he watched some cartoons, but he didn't really read the comic books, and
that's the and that's the experience of the vast majority of the movie-going audience. That's the experience of most people in the world in terms of Marvel Comics, if you're in an area where Marvel Comics are even a thing. Like, that was my experience growing up. I didn't start reading the Marvel Comics until later. I read a few as, like, a teenager, but later on I got more into them, especially because of the movies. Like...
Yeah, it was the same with me. Like, I never read comic books as a kid. Like, I liked Spider-Man. Like, when I was, like, a little kid... Like, I know you're a bit older than me, but when I was a kid, the Spider-Man movies were just coming out, like the Tobey Maguire ones.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so I was a little kid. Spider-Man came out, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3.
that's kind of...
One sec. Will Ahmad delete Stromboli for Wi-Fi's comment? Don't post porn links in the chat, please. Even if you tell me not to click on them, you cannot post porn links. Don't do that.
Yeah.
kind of important.
Chat, control the horny.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and like, these people think, oh, if you read the comics from the beginning, you would 100% agree with me. And it's like, no, that's not even like a guarantee. Like, Kevin Feige could have read every Marvel comic released to date, and then still be like, yeah, we should have like women and minorities. I guess women are a minority, so like, just have like minorities have a presence and have like more like liberal values be represented in the Marvel movies, because that's what was always kind of presented in the comics.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to do a thing real quick. I apologize. There we go. Thank you, Baha. Appreciate it.
Considering that is...
I think it was that GIF, I don't know if you've seen it, of the Hulk going to town on Black Widow. It's scary.
I don't know if I've seen that specific one, but maybe.
The source material.
That's being posted in my chat, anyone. Just because it has to be said, I guess.
He read them later, and source material did matter in the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it doesn't matter now. Kevin Feige says comic book popularity, not a factor in movie and TV adaptations. And
no shit. The movie and TV franchises are way bigger than the comics ever have been, and that's fine. The characters are still the characters. There's nothing wrong with adaptation and making new things. It's fine.
Like, and I believe the comics now are still more popular than they were in, like, the 80s and 90s.
Definitely not the 90s, because the 90s were part of the comic book boom and bust. There was a huge speculation boom in the 90s, because people started selling, like... That was sort of when, in the early 90s, people first started selling, like, their Action Comics #1 for, like, millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Action Comics being the first... appearance of Superman. You know, because old-timey comics, they were throwaway pulp magazines back in the day, so there were so few of them. But in the 90s, they started selling for a bunch of money, so speculators started buying a bunch of comics thinking that they were going to be worth millions of dollars someday. And then the industry, in response, started putting out a bunch of special issues with special covers and holographic covers and all sorts of stupid gimmicks. And it oversaturated the market, and it crashed. So they might be more popular today than they were after the crash. I don't know the numbers, but comic books circulation is pretty bad, at least in paper circulation. Even unless I buy a trade paperback, I usually use the app, the Marvel Now app or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what their subscription numbers are for that.
Yeah, I have a couple of comics. I am slowly collecting the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure manga. Which, do you watch anime?
No.
No? Okay. Because if you did, I would recommend JoJo's because it is very gay. Like, the main villain of, like, the whole series is canonically bisexual.
Okay.
Which is... And it's also, like... It's weird because in a lot of anime and comic books, too, the men have like the cool like big armor and like all this stuff, and it's like, and then the women's have like an armored bikini that like just covers their nips,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like just as powerful armor. But in JoJo's, the men are all like hypersexualized, and the women are just kind of there.
Okay.
Like the men are all like, they have shoulders out to here. They're all like 6'7". They're like built like a brick shithouse, and like they're wearing like things that show like their midriff, where you can see like their 8-pack abs. Lisa is like one of the few women who is like sexualized in any way, and she doesn't appear until part 2, and like a decent way into it. But like, and then in part 4 and 5, they just all kind of become like twinks who are all kind of like androgynous and like kind of like sexual with each other. Like there's this one famous clip of Bruno Bucciarati licking Giorno's face, and he like goes up really close to him and just like licks his cheek, and he's like, "You taste like a liar." And it's like weirdly sexual.
Oh no.
And like if you ever look up like JoJo's poses, there's this one of Giorno with his stand, and like the stand is like their ability, which like manifests in like usually a human like form.
Okay.
And it's standing in front of him, and Giorno has like one hand here and like another hand on like the stand's like upper inner thigh. So it's like, it's very gay. It's very good. I highly recommend it. And also Araki, who is the artist, is a big ally. So
Well, that's good. I'll check it out if I ever decide to be a weeb.
you should do it. I recommend it.
Mike Mack says, doesn't this true fan know about how the multiverse works? I don't think he cares. It's an ideologically driven thing.
No, the multiverse can exist if women exist in one of those multiverses. Only men.
Big Sweet Demon says, beautiful Ganymede IC twink. I don't know what that means. And then there's a link. Do I click this or no? Is this okay?
I don't know. I don't know what that means. It's your chat. You.
Oh, it's just a JoJo's picture.
Oh, that is Giorno Giovanna.
Oh my god, yeah, this show looks very
so,
gay. Holy shit.
Yeah, so the one, if you go back to it, Control-Shift-T.
Yeah. This one?
Yeah, second one to the right. I was unsure of like what their gender was. It's because like the skirt, the like kind of like low cut top, and like they're all just like men. But like they're all like see like midriff everywhere, boob windows.
The boob windows
like,
on the men are pretty good. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I do appreciate it. It's very fun. And yeah, they're also all like Giorno is 15.
Oh no!
But he has like a 6-pack and like chiseled pecs, and it's weird. They're just like that age because like that's the thing in like Japan, because that's like the market for a lot of these shows and mangas. So it's like, oh, he's also 15, but he's 6'3" and has like arms the size of tires.
Big Sweet Demon says, technically Jesus Christ is a main character in one part and can be technically referred to as JoJo, Joshua Bar Joseph. I don't know what any of that means.
I don't recognize that JoJo. It might be a later JoJo, but I don't think it is.
And that is absolutely clear now. Marvel was once known as the House of Ideas, but now it's the House of Ideology, and it's a house run by Kevin Feige, who has gone full Kathleen Kennedy.
Can we get purple-haired Laura Dern in here, please? Laura Dern to the Avengers set.
Like, I didn't like that character, but it had nothing to do with the fact that she had, like, purple hair or like was a woman. I just think she did stupid things.
Honestly, just to piss off people like this, I kind of wish in an Avengers movie, literally that same character would show up and they just explain when she light speed rammed into the Star Destroyer, it sent her to the Marvel Universe, and she just becomes like a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Like, oh, fun fact about one of the JoJo's parts before we move on too much. In one of the parts, they're having the protagonist and antagonist are on a search for the bones of Jesus Christ.
Okay. Why?
Because I don't know. That part hasn't. That's part 7. Part 6 is going to be animated soon, and then we'll see. So, part 7 does get into the weird timeline split. So,
great. Anime's weird. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says Joshua translates from Yeshua, also known as Jesus. Nick says he really wants to use a different vowel for Kevin Feige's name. You can just tell. Oof. And Mike Mack says, do people forget that Cap was made as propaganda to fight against Nazis? I guess. I don't know. It's hard to remember, considering the first cover is so subtle with that message.
And quite frankly, with all the criticism that I've thrown Kathleen Kennedy's way, much deserved, Kevin Feige has been much worse.
This room looks... Can I just point this out? This room looks like the most claustrophobic fucking thing ever. I don't think I could stand to be in this room very long.
like, I get having collectibles, but I feel like there's, like, the aesthetic of having collectibles. Like, here, you know what? I'll show my messy desk. Over here, I have, like, a collection of pop figures.
Mm-hmm.
I like them. I have another box that still has some more that, like, I just couldn't fit.
Sure.
But, like, I'm hoping at some point to just have, like, a shelf, and I'll just put them all on, like, a shelf behind me.
Yeah.
I like the look of it. They're fun collectibles to have. I know you have a shelf like that somewhere in your house.
I have Marvel
not
prop stuff, so I have like an
figure.
Infinity Gauntlet, an Iron Man helmet, a Captain America helmet, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
but it's like it's a part of the room. It's in the corner. It's there to look at, but it doesn't dominate the space. It's not the whole room.
I feel like if I were to be like standing behind him, there would be no more room in this room.
Yeah,
like I feel like he can't.
Even if he took out like the Spider-Man arcade game, it might be a little better. But like this is just like
yeah, the arcade cabinet I think is what does it. Like it's a bit too noisy.
It's organized hoarding, and also I just noticed he has a Gina Carano Star Wars action figure on his mic stand, and that's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah.
It's like slightly out of focus, so I couldn't.
Yeah, there's a Q, and which is John Delancey and Gina Carano.
I was so upset when she turned out to be shitty, because at first I was like real excited that like a non-stereotypically attractive woman is leading in this show, because she's I think you would agree, she's not like stereotypically attractive. She's big, muscly.
Sure.
Like she's not the frail, save me woman. And I was like, awesome, cool, big muscly lady, I'm into that. And then she's like being banned on Twitter is like the Holocaust. And then I'm like, well, there goes any attraction I had to her out the window.
Mike says, let's not forget the best boy of JoJo, Iggy. Rip. Again, I don't...
Iggy was the dog from part 3.
Big Sweet Demon says, sorry to capitalize on memes, but applicable. Safe to click. This looks like it looks like Howl's Moving Castle, but I don't think it's that.
Yeah, it looks like a Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I haven't seen any Studio Ghibli. I'm waiting to watch them with. I believe Danny and Adam said they want to watch them together.
Nice.
And Morimiku
oh, sorry, go.
said, How much of that room do you think is leftover inventory from when his store closed?
Oh, at least 50%. Ender92 says, I'll never understand people who bitch for a literal decade about something instead of just moving on. If you don't like something anymore, move on. This is just too mentally unhealthy. Right? That's what I don't get about it. Like, I like talking about the Marvel movies because I enjoy the Marvel movies. I enjoy talking about the Star Wars movies sometimes because I enjoy them. Not as much as Marvel, but, you know, they're okay. I like The Mandalorian a lot. I liked The Last Jedi. It's my second favorite Star Wars movie, which is a controversial opinion, I guess.
I liked... granted, I have not seen The Rise of Skywalker. I've seen it, but like I've only seen it twice. I think I've seen Last Jedi like 4 times.
Sure.
But I have been a Star Wars fan since day one. I don't show this. I feel like it did. But I have a full Kylo Ren cosplay. Like, I have the helmet, like a full head helmet, the robes, and the lightsaber. Like, I have been Star Wars nerd since I was like 7.
Sure.
Probably even before that, because The Phantom Menace came out before, I think the same year I was born. Came out in 99, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it came out before I was born. Or no, I think slightly after, because I was born in February. But I was an infant when it came out. Yeah. But like...
That's interesting. I saw that in theaters. I remember going to see that.
Old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can say... Monsters Incorporated was my first movie in theaters.
Sure. So what was I going to say? Oh, so... Like, those are franchises I'll talk about because I like them still. And I get it's fun to complain sometimes, but, like, what's a series that I don't like anymore? I'm trying to think. A long-standing series that I don't particularly like. Gosh, maybe...
Gotta explain.
Chat, name a franchise that sucks now that used to be good. And I'll see if there's any of them that I used to like but don't like anymore.
iCarly.
You know, I did used to like iCarly. I haven't seen the new one. I actually only saw one episode of the new one, and it actually seems pretty good. The Simpsons. The Simpsons is a good one. Okay. So The Simpsons, I owned, like, the first 10 seasons on DVD when I was a kid, and I would just watch them constantly, right? I memorized some of those jokes. I love The Simpsons. And... the traditional view is that The Simpsons got less and less funny over time past, like, season 8 or 10, depending on where your cutoff is. And what? Do you have disagreements with me about Simpsons?
No, I got follow botted.
Oh, yeah, I hate when that happens. It's annoying.
I'm getting, like, 100, and, like, they're all spamming a clip that says, "You will forever be a man, abomination."
Lovely.
God, I just gotta get rid of these.
Yeah, shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh, but I don't spend time and make videos about how The Simpsons sucks now and how bad it is, you know what I mean? Or Family Guy, or anything like that. I just don't watch them. Sorry you're dealing with that, that's annoying.
It's still going.
Yeah.
Do you have a recommendation? Should I just, like, let it go?
I usually just let it go, and then Twitch will deal with the follows later.
They're spamming the thing is, they're spamming a clip in chat.
Yeah.
Which is like the thing, which is like the bigger issue is just like...
You could either turn on slow mode or just turn off chat for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I guess I can turn off. Well, they're all different accounts, so I guess we're just gonna go sub only for a few minutes.
Sure.
Sorry, chat. Until this goes away.
Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, I had the same thing happen to me with Ruby Rose, turned out to be vegan. Attractiveness went from 100 to 0. That's kind of weird to me, but whatever. What? That's your choice, vegan? I guess. That's weird to me that veganism is a turn-off for you. Nick says, I had the opposite effect when she turned out to be a Geelong Cats fan. I don't know what that is.
I guess I will be... I forget who said that, but I guess I will be slightly less attractive because I am going. I don't know if I'm going fully vegan, but like 90% vegan. So Baja, if Hannah eats too much meat for you,
Mike Mack says, imagine if they show Aboleth in Star Wars like they did in Legends. The Chuds will lose their mind because the strongest Force user is female. Oh my goodness.
I'm keeping an eye on the windows. Okay. What? Yeah. Oh, Baja. Did you hear that one?
Yeah.
Baja, thank you for coming in. And Baja's is cleansing all of it. Thank you, Baja. And and I hope Hannah one day sees the error of her ways and stops eating me.
I kind of doubt it, but we'll see.
Let's see. I just want to check my Twitch thing. How many followers am I up? I'm up to 1,200 followers.
Yeah, that's annoying. Twitch will fix it in a couple days. They always do.
Yeah, I was up to like 560-ish, 570.
I hate that because I'm really obsessive about keeping track of my analytics and stuff and how many
Me
followers
too.
and stuff. So it annoys me when it does that because I can't get an accurate read until it gets fixed.
You know what? Sure. Morgan, you show up enough and I trust you. Mod. More. There you go, Morgan.
Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, I'm also a hypocrite. I admit vegans are in the moral right, but I can't be attracted to people unless they eat at least eggs, real and fried. Why? Like, I can't judge you if that's just an innate thing, but that is like the weirdest... That is the weirdest reason to not be attracted to someone I've ever heard. They have to, like, eat meat or eggs? What the fuck? Is watching people consume animal products like a turn-on for you? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't. Alright, I'll let it. Does having followers help your Twitch analytics? I think it does, but like, the thing is that now I will then lose like 600 followers in like a couple days.
Yeah, if they're bot followers, it doesn't help.
Because they're bots, it largely won't help it. But yeah, if you're an actual follower, follow me, because that would be pretty poggers.
The stuff that is
stretch once this BS. Did you redeem a stretch? I stretched early. Fine.
There was a hydrate from 2 hours ago I missed. It's just eggs. It's a thing. Respect your kink. Okay. That's weird, but right on. Whatevs. What if it's like artificial egg? Because they make that hydrate.
Because like, I haven't had it, but I've heard like, when you make like scrambled eggs with it, I've heard it's close enough. It's pretty close.
Just egg, I think it's called.
Has flown out of that guy's pie
only chat, so we'll see.
hole just in the last couple of months is worse than anything Kathleen Kennedy has said recently, which has been absolutely nothing. He recently said Doctor Strange was just another white guy, and he also said he wanted to...
That is such a bastardization of what those articles said, because I follow Marvel stuff because, again, I'm a big fan. It's my favorite franchise. So basically, Kevin Feige, and I think this was just an excuse, probably because COVID restrictions kept them from getting to film with Benedict Cumberbatch at the time, but he basically said it was Wanda's story, and it didn't really feel right to have some, like, you know, all-powerful Deus Ex Machina guy to come in and fix all her problems. That's a bit of a yikesy trope, and we just didn't want to do that. Which is fine. That's a completely fair, like, thing for them to edit. And then all the articles from these people came out. They're like, oh my god, they didn't get Doctor Strange because he's a straight white man! It's just the most ridiculous shit.
By the way, do you know how to, like, clear past, like, all the active, like, alerts?
On Streamlabs OBS?
Yeah. Because I just see the skip alert.
I do not know off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm just gonna hide the alert box for now.
Strumbly for Wi-Fi says
sorry,
it's...
chat, if I miss your alert in advance.
Strumbly for Wi-Fi says it's all about that fry and yolk. I can't describe or justify it. Okay. Nick says, boss again. Woohoo. And Nick is the stream boss. Egg fetish. That's new to me. That's new.
I'm not here to kink shame,
No.
but I don't get it. You should be more environmental with your fetishes.
Subvert our expectations with Black Widow. Well, you mean subverting our expectations like you did with Ghost? Or subvert...
Are we cool with Black Widow spoilers if he gets into it? Because I haven't seen it.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, I'm fine too. I
I
don't
haven't seen
care.
it. I don't really plan to watch it anytime soon.
Subverting our expectations like you did with female Loki? Or subverting our...
Was that a subverted expectations? She's just a Loki variant. Nick says, also,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to want to feel persecuted when you've never really been persecuted in your life. It's so privileged, and I'm acknowledging my privilege in saying that. Go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
like, Lady Loki was a thing in the comics
Yeah.
for like a while, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was like in middle school, they did like Lady Thor.
There have been lady versions of most versions of the characters in the comics at one point or another.
Our
It was, yeah, it's just a thing that exists. It's just like alternate universe.
expectations like you did with Freckle Jesus, and this is a bonus round, and I know it's not Marvel, or Disney subverting our expectations with Infest Nest? You want to subvert my expectations with Black Widow? Why don't you make the Taskmaster Anthony Masters like he is in the comic books and not the girl that I know and everyone knows we're going to get? You want to subvert my expectations? Have Loki actually be the star of his own show.
He is? What? Oh my god. Okay, so there is a prevalent supporting character in Loki that is a lady. I'm not going to spoil it. Yeah, fuck it. You already saw. The Lady Loki variant is a supporting character that's in quite a few episodes of Loki. Tom Hiddleston's Loki is still the main character of the show. He's the protagonist. What the fuck is his problem?
Sorry, chat. We gotta go sub only again. We got it again.
You want to subvert my expectations? Cast a comic book accurate Fantastic Four and X-Men. And
I assume by that he means... I assume he's one of the people that when they did the Fantastic Four movie and they had Johnny Storm played by... Oh gosh, what's his name? He played Creed in...
Michael B. Jordan?
Yes! I believe he played Johnny Blaze, and a bunch of chuds were like, but he's white in the comics, that's not accurate.
Not all of them.
And it's like...
In some of the comics, he is a black man. Thank you again, Baja, for cleaning up.
I don't understand why they care about the race of the character.
And let's go one further.
Kirsten, thank you for the tier 1 subby. Very appreciated.
Call them the X-Men.
It's funny that people call it the X-Men. There's a lot of female superheroes in that X-Men group, so I think it's outdated.
And about that synergy between Marvel Comics and the MCU, well, like I said, it has never been closer. In the past, you would have a Captain America movie out and it would be Falcon Cap in the comics, or a Thor movie out and it would be female Thor in the comics. They never really matched, and they wasted years doing that, and that probably could have helped the comic shops. But now, they couldn't be closer. I absolutely believe that She-Hulk will look like a dude in the She-Hulk series.
What do you mean, look like a... What do you mean, looks like a dude?
Muscular means dude. If the person who is literally a Hulk is muscular.
So like that.
Yeah.
Because I assume that is She-Hulk, correct?
I don't know if that's She-Hulk or a different permutation of a female Hulk, because in the comics there are quite a few different Hulks.
So it is a lady Hulk.
It's a lady Hulk. I don't know if that is She-Hulk. I haven't read this particular comic, whatever he's showing.
So...
Because She-Hulk has shown up with many different... Hold on. She-Hulk... Traditionally, She-Hulk has looked like in her first appearances, more, how do I put this? More feminine, more traditionally feminine, right?
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends. Some show her
does
more.
this person want us to go back to like the Hulk show from like, what was that, like the 70s or 80s?
I don't know. Here's one that's kind of
Where
a
it
middle
was
ground where she's like she's very muscular. She looks like a bodybuilder, basically. I would expect we'll probably get something a little like this. Maybe like this. I don't know. Probably not so much like this, because this is just like a pin-up that has been
green lady?
green. Maybe like this. I assume we'll get bodybuilder-looking She-Hulk.
Yeah. Like, something... I don't think it'll be like that.
No.
It's... I imagine it will be... Like, I don't think it'll be... Like, that one just seems to be Hulk with something covering their chests.
Yep.
But, like, I don't think we'll get that, but, like, it might be a bit more femme. Like, it'll still probably be pretty muscular.
Yeah.
And it's just...
I don't understand people, and for one thing, I don't think it's under... A lot of people like really muscular women. Like, that's completely fine. But, like, I don't understand people like this dude who treat all comic book material and TV shows, and if it's a depiction of a woman, it has to be wank material for them. So if they don't find that particular, like, iteration of that character attractive, then all of a sudden it's trash and pandering. But if you make it attractive in something that makes their pee-pee hard, then it's not pandering to them. That's just the standard.
What I'm saying is, you got Black Widow, you got a bunch of other superheroes. Let us people who like buff, strong ladies have something too. If you even just want to go like, oh, you just want it to be wank material, let it be wank material for someone else, god damn it.
Strong Bully for Wi-Fi says, can we skip She-Hulk and Shulk, or is that too much of a tongue twister, no pun intended? Or can we ship She-Hulk and Shulk?
Yeah, it's fine if you pop into another stream, Morgan.
And the winter
I assume Baja is at least checking in on occasion to if we get another butt blast of followers.
Hulk has something to do with the Red Room, which connects it to Black Widow. These are all things Kevin Feige has signed off on because he is the CEO of Marvel Comics. He also signed off on this. This story broke over the 4th of July.
Oh, they're so mad about Steve Rogers. I hate when they talk about Captain America when they clearly know nothing about Captain America. Oh my god, Captain America is critical of the idea of the American dream? Have you read a Captain America comic in the last 30 or 40 years? Yeah. Not even 40 years! Cap started questioning the whole America thing, like, in terms of its governance and its actual structure, during the Nixon administration, when he gave up the title of Captain America temporarily and became Nomad. This is not new. This is central to the character as he has existed for most of his history.
And I don't remember when it was from, but it was a panel or a few panels you showed where he shows up and Captain America, it was like one of the What If comics
from the 80s.
And it was like he wasn't unfrozen until like after like another fake fascist Captain America was like went around. And he was like, and then he stood up and he was like, listen, I like America not because of the freedom, not because the freedom is strong, but because it is fragile, because it can be taken over by these people, and like you all fell for it, and blah 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 blah. And they were like, and it's like, Captain America has been like a fairly progressive, I would say he is patriotic, but he is a fairly progressive patriot, where he's like, not just like America is perfect the way it is, and nothing needs to change. And it's just like, he thinks America is good, but like there's ways to improve it.
Yeah, he stands for what he believes the ideal of America to be, and he recognizes that it doesn't stand up to that a lot of the time. Vault 319 says the She-Hulk he showed is more of a savage She-Hulk, making Jen's powers closer to Bruce's. Makes sense. Magic Lad says most of these characters are made to appeal to white guys in the 60s and 70s. It's 2021, for fuck's sake. Marvel's modern characters appeal so much more to me, one of the reasons being how diverse they are. Gay Space Kings, too. Mike Mack says CSP went against the government in the third movie. And that's it.
A weekend. Marvel reveals Steve Rogers no longer believes in the American dream in first issue of the United States of Captain America. I'm loyal to nothing except the dream. I actually said that once. Here's the thing about a dream, though. A dream isn't real. When we wake up, it goes away, and we're left with this yearning inside.
I haven't read the United States of Captain America yet, but I find it very interesting that they're looking at this first issue in isolation, when it seems pretty clear to me that based on the synopsis of the series, it's setting him up for a character arc where he will reignite his belief in the American dream. Like, if this is the first issue and he says this, the series, if you don't know, is about him, I believe the Winter Soldier, and, oh gosh, why can't I think of his name? U.S. agent going around the country and trying to get in touch with, like, America. So I assume in this initial issue, this is him supposedly at his bottom point, and then through the rest of the issues, he meets other people who have been, and Sam, I'm sorry, basically people who have been Captain America in the past. Them going around the country and running into other people who have been inspired by Captain America to become their own thing, so United States.
I saw there was one that I think Jeremy or somebody complained about. It was like a lady Captain America, and she has a real cool outfit. I like her. Oh, that's her on the top right.
This one?
Or, that's one of them, and then I think it's her with the skirt and like
this one?
The leather jacket. Yeah. I really like her outfit. It's real cool.
They have like a Native American Captain America. This is a cool design. Basically, it's them going around and meeting different Captain Americas, and it's supposed to reignite their belief in the American, blah, blah, blah. You get it. So they're literally looking at the thing that Cap is supposed to learn throughout the United States of Captain America and going, they're using this to say that this is a thing, even though it's not.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure it'll be like, the American dream isn't exactly what we thought it was, but there's still something here that can be like
probably
worked on, and
yes.
Like it's like they'll probably like compare it to like there's like a seed here that can be grown into something greater if we work towards it and help each other.
Which is very in line with how Captain America has been depicted since he got defrosted in like the late 60s, early 70s. That's very in line with his personality as it's been depicted.
Like something was taken from us. At least, that's one kind of dream. But lately, spending my days in this country, as the years march on by, I'm starting to think America actually has two dreams and one lie. I know Captain America sounds like he just walked out of a cis-hetero antinormativity social injustice course. Germans...
Or a person who's lived in America for decades and recognizes that things are getting materially worse for tons of people and upward mobility is less possible than it's been in a long time.
Have this neat word, Fernweh. It means a longing for nostalgia, for a place you've never been, or for a place that might not even exist at all. We have a word for this in the States, Americana.
You gotta be f***ing kidding.
That's funny. Captain America sounds exactly like a bitter, ingrate, current-year Marvel comic books writer. Now, I'm not saying Kevin Feige runs the day-to-day at Marvel Comics or even knows what goes on a weekly basis, but I'm sure he knows that they're writing something like this in Captain America. You know, the Steve Rogers Captain America that they had to bring back to the book because the Falcon cap wasn't selling? Or
I hate when they do this shit. Captain America, Sam Wilson, was never going to be a thing permanently. This happens all the time in comics. There's some sort of status quo shakeup where a legacy hero will become a mantle taken on by someone else, and then eventually it's usually returned to them in some way, shape, or form. That's incredibly common.
With Spider-Man, with Miles Morales becoming Spider-Man for a time.
Happened with Iron Man. War Machine became Iron Man for a period of time during the Demon in a Bottle arc, where Iron Man was an alcoholic and was dealing with that. Like, this is common. This is common shit, guys. If you claim to be... And he owned a comic book shop, so he has to know this. He's just grifting.
Like, he has to know this isn't a new thing.
Yeah.
This has been happening for, like, obviously you would probably know more about this than I do, but from what I know, this has been happening for, like, decades.
Yep.
Where, like, just all of a sudden, different person who may... I've noticed a lot of times they are, like, some kind of minority becomes this superhero, and they're dealing with, like, the implications and ramifications of that happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, with Sam becoming Captain America. It's all about what it means for a black man to become Captain America.
Yeah.
And what that means with how history has played out and how some people feel. Like, sorry, spoilers for Falcon and Winter Soldier, with that the other super soldier they meet, who was like the first black super soldier.
Yeah.
And he was like at first very upset at the notion of Sam becoming Captain America, just because of how black people have been treated in America. And then he was like, oh, you can use this as a platform to help people and sort of spread awareness of these issues.
Yeah.
There's potential there.
Maybe they just brought him back to deconstruct him more, so maybe someday Falcon Cap will work.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. You've got to do better.
So it seems like the ingratitude that is ingrained into the Marvel Comics staff has bled up to the MCU, because the ingratitude continues, and it also seems that Kevin Feige has gone to the Tim Miller School of Film Promotion. Just in case you don't remember, a couple of years ago at Comic-Con, Tim Miller said that Terminator Dark Fate was gonna scare the F out of misogynists. Then, after the film flopped, he said this.
So, I'm proud of the movie, and it's just bad luck, or bad timing, or hubris.
Or it's like the 6th Terminator movie in a series that's been bad since after the 2nd movie.
Yeah, it's like they'll do the same thing. Like, they'll look at like the Ghostbusters movie, and they'll just be like, see, this failed because the Ghostbusters, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, maybe the Ghostbusters movie was just a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like,
there have been countless bad movies starring all men, but we don't say, like, this is patriarchal trash. It's just like, oh, that was a bad movie. Like, Ghostbusters 2 wasn't considered a good movie for most of its existence either. I think it's better than its reputation, but a lot of people didn't like Ghostbusters 2, but it wasn't because of a political messaging or anything. It just wasn't as good of a movie as the first one. And 2016's wasn't funny. But it has nothing to do with whether or not they're all women. Nick says, wanting things to be better equals ingratitude, according to conservatives.
On my part, by thinking that I've got my finger on the pulse of fans, nerds everywhere, and maybe I don't.
We see article after article. This is going to be Me Too Black Widow. This is going to be a Black Widow film about the persecution of women. Wow, that sounds fun. Can't wait to take baby boy to that. Wasn't that long ago. Kevin Feige could do no wrong, but it looks like his best days might be behind him. And hey, if the MCU ends today, you cannot take away what the man has accomplished. It's the greatest franchise ever created. And as of yet, he has not had a failure, but based on what I've...
Thor 2. Thor 2 exists. Just saying.
seen so far, and we haven't seen any real numbers from any of the D+ shows, it's not looking too good this year. And it was only a couple of years ago when Scarlett Johansson was calling out PC culture in Hollywood. I did a video on that, but since then, it seems both Scarlett and Kevin Feige have gone to Bohemian Grove, done their mock sacrifice to Moloch, and joined the cult. Black Widow star Scarlett Johansson claims women are undermined, underserviced, underappreciated, and underpaid, and ungrateful. So says the multi-millionaire adult pretender. So we are well on our way in.
I always find it funny when their excuse is Scarlett Johansson will come out and say something like, women are underpaid in Hollywood, and then they'll be like, psh, she's the highest paid woman in Hollywood, and it's like, yeah, and she gets paid less than the highest paid man.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter that she's the highest of women. The point she's making is that women on the whole get paid less, which is illustrated by the fact that she's the highest paid, and it's not comparable to men in the same field. That's the point? I don't get it.
It's like when, like, a rich... Anytime, like, somebody who's, like, famous or, like, a rich person, like, points out, like, hey, like, it happened recently with, what's her name? The OK Boomer girl.
Yeah.
She bought, like, a really nice apartment somewhere in, like, Dallas or maybe Austin. Somewhere in Texas. But she bought, like, a really nice apartment. I still think she paid way too much for that apartment.
I think it was like $2 million or something.
It was something like that, but it was like ridiculous. But people would be like, "Oh yeah, look at her. She paid this much for this apartment, and look, she says tax the rich, and she's rich." And it's like, yes, you can. I would hope that because of the criticisms she talks about, I would imagine she pays her taxes.
Yeah.
And you can be rich and criticize other rich people for not paying their taxes.
Yeah, it's interesting in that if you criticize the wealthy when you're wealthy and say they should be taxed, people call you a hypocrite, and if you're not rich and you say that, then they say you're just jealous. It's like there's no socially viable way from some people's perspectives to criticize the wealthy and our current taxation system at all. There's just no appropriate avenue to do it, because they'll always come up with some reason that it's an invalid criticism. It's frustrating.
Yeah, like, even my dad was like, I've said stuff like that to him, and he'd be like, oh, well, you wouldn't be saying that if you were rich. I'm like, I would hope I would. And I was like, if I was as rich as, like, Jeff Bezos, I would be a shitty person. Because, like, in order to get that much money, you kind of have to be like, fuck everyone else.
Yep.
I'm going to keep that much money for me. And again, chat, I'm sorry for having to keep it in sub-only mode. I took it off for another minute, and we got spammed again.
I'm sorry you're having to deal with that. That sucks.
It's alright. I mean, it's just annoying because it's like, I feel like people aren't hanging around in chat as much who, like, can't sub.
Yeah.
And do you know of any way to report a clip?
Yeah, someone I think in the chat said earlier there was maybe a way to, you can, like, I think ban individual links from chat.
Okay.
You might have to Google how to do it real quick, but someone mentioned it. So if you can get that clip link and then ban it.
If somebody wants to look for that and then put it in my chat, feel free to do so. Because like, I feel bad not having
in a
to keep
couple
it on
of hours.
sub-only.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit play.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, it's just, I feel bad about put it on emote only, but then like people can't like actually like type stuff. People who like are subbed can't type stuff. It's just like because I can't put it on follow only because they are all following.
Oh, you just add the link to the disallowed terms list. So if you go to your dashboard and find the disallowed terms and put the link, it'll be gone.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll do that real quick. Play the video.
Way from the beginning of Marvel Phase 4. Disney Marvel thinks they've built up enough capital to start messing with their product and pushing the...
Is it messing with their product if it's their product? What do you mean messing with their product? It's their vision for the product and they own it. How is that messing with it? They're just making more Marvel stuff.
boundaries by using them as vehicles and platforms for social awareness and representation when you can do both with good storytelling.
Which I would argue they're doing for the most part. You just don't like the messaging. This annoys me too when they act like Disney, one of the biggest corporations in the world and the biggest media empire in history. They act like they have some ideological mission when their real mission is just make money. The reason they include, like, progressive ideas or whatever is specifically because those ideas are popular with the target demographic. Well, I agree with the sentiments of, like, inclusivity and recognizing the need for, like, racial and economic justice. They don't put these in just for funsies. They put these in because they're popular with the target demo. Catalina Gearbox with $5 says, honestly, Ghostbusters was kind of a niche movie. It's kind of like if they tried to remake Rocky Horror. I guess. I think that would actually... Well, it probably wouldn't be popular, but it would piss people off.
Yeah, like... Yeah, Ghostbusters was, like, even, like, a weird film. It's not, like, the top, like, most popular film of, like, that time. It was just, like... It's, like, a cult classic. Like, people like Ghostbusters. Like, I like Ghostbusters. It's a fun movie. But, like... It is what it is. It's like... They made a sequel. They tried to do a reboot. It didn't work for multiple reasons.
They're doing the other remake now too, or the whatever you want to call it, the continuation, the soft reboot, where like Ivan Reitman's kid is making it. I think his name is like Jason Reitman. I think he did Juno. And they're doing it with some of the kids from like Stranger Things, and it has a very Stranger Things vibe. That movie might be okay, but it's not really Ghostbusters. It seems like they're just making a probably good movie, coming-of-age film with a Ghostbusters coat of paint over it, because that's a notable franchise. I don't know.
As long as that comes first. With all the boxes they concern themselves with checking, they keep missing the main one. Fun. But to hell with all that. The Black Widow and Loki both pass the Bechdel test. What's the Bechdel test? The Bechdel test, also known as the Bechdel-Wallace test.
Most people don't care about the Bechdel test, and even then the Bechdel test is not the end-all be-all of, like, feminist film critique. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The Bechdel test is not even that hard to make.
I think
all
that was,
it requires.
I think that was kind of the point of the Bechdel test, was to show how low a bar you have to pass and how many films don't do it.
Yeah, it requires 2 women to be on screen at one point without any men, and for them to be talking about something that isn't a man in the film. So 2 women meeting together on screen and not talking about a man. That's all they need to do to pass. That's it. So it's like a super easy thing. And, like, I forget how many, like, movies do not pass.
The Room passes the Bechdel test? Does it? Every time... God, is there a scene in that movie where 2 women get together and aren't talking about a man? Because every time Lisa gets with her mom, they're talking about Johnny.
I believe the scene where they talk about...
The cancer?
And she's like, and I have breast cancer.
Okay.
And then it's never brought up for the rest of the film.
But does it count if within the same span of like a minute of that they start talking about a man? They start talking about Johnny?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if... I haven't seen The Room in a while. I gotta watch it again. Okay. I might show it to my boyfriends.
Please do.
Because I don't know if they've seen it. And if they have, they're gonna watch it again because it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Show them a Neil Breen movie. Have you seen any Neil Breen movies?
I've seen clips. I haven't seen a movie from beginning to end.
Go and watch a Neil Breen movie. Do it.
No, I can't believe it. I cannot believe you committed suicide.
How could you have committed suicide? I can't believe you committed suicide. Mike Max says, do comic book fans forget that Carol was basically, R-worded in the comics? Wasp was abused by Hank Pym. The Maximoff twins had an incest relationship in the Ultimate Universe. Mess up things happen in the comics. Not everything needs to be a copy and paste in the movie. Yeah. The Carol Danvers thing was fucked. So, one time, Carol Danvers got I shouldn't laugh. It's just so absurd that no one got this. This was like the 200th issue of Avengers. So this was like a big book, you know? And they had Carol Danvers forcibly impregnated by an interdimensional being. She, like, constantly throughout the issue is talking about how this is disgusting and she wants it out of her, and she's, like, not comfortable with this. And, like, the Wasp and other people are like, oh, the baby's gonna be so cute, and, like, completely ignoring the fact that she's freaked out about this. It's like a supernatural pregnancy.
No.
So, like, over the course of a day, she gives birth, and the baby comes out, and she just wants nothing to do with it. And then the baby grows up to an adult, hunky man in another, like, day. And then she and the baby, who it's her baby, even though it was, like, an interdimensional baby, the guy explains, I'm from another universe, and I impregnated you with myself so I could come to your universe. And then she falls in love with him, air quotes, and he takes her away to his dimension. This is a notoriously bad issue of the comics, and it was hated by, like, everyone. And then later they retconned it to say that he was mind-controlling her, and she comes back and is just pissed at the Avengers, and she's like, are you guys serious? I was assaulted, and then you let him take me away while I was brainwashed? What is wrong with you guys? So the comics have all sorts of weird shit in them.
Rhinodoodle, thank you for the follow. Finally, a real follower that isn't a bot.
Yay!
Let's see, how many did I get? I'm now at 2,073 followers.
Mike Max says, if Rick and Morty can pass the test, any media can do it. True.
Is a measure of the representation of women in fiction. It asks whether a work features at least two women who talk to each other about something other than a man. The requirement that the two women must be named is sometimes added. According to the user-edited databases and the media industry press, about half of all films meet this criteria. Media industry studies indicate the films that pass the test perform better financially than those that do not. Strangely enough, there isn't a link to any information to back that.
Sorry, what?
I got another follower.
Oh, sorry.
Another actually. It's like, so, according to him, is this a bad thing?
I don't know, I guess. I think by the fact that he's questioning this claim, and in fairness, I get questioning the claim when there's no citation, but it seems like he must think the opposite? I don't know. I don't know what his point is here.
I've heard, I think 2/3 don't pass it, but...
Okay.
I may, like I said, it's Wikipedia, so it may be...
Yeah. You always gotta check the sources.
Wrong. One of us may be wrong, so... But somewhere between half and 2/3 is what I've heard.
That statement up, but I am sure they base it on films like Captain Marvel, and they think it's actually a successful film because of the Bechdel test and not because it was sandwiched in between two of the most anticipated sequels of all time.
I can't wait for Captain Marvel 2 to come out and make money so they lose that talking point. That's their thing. They're like, we weren't wrong about Captain Marvel failing, it's just that it was in between the two Avengers movies.
Okay, and like... What there were other movies that came out, other Marvel movies that came out around the same time that
Ant-Man
didn't
and the
do
Wasp.
as well.
Yep, Ant-Man and the Wasp did. Captain Marvel did way better.
Yeah, because Captain Marvel was just... I actually still have not seen Captain Marvel.
I enjoy it. It's very typical Marvel origin movie, so like it follows that formula. But I like it. I enjoy it. I like the sort of rapport between younger Nick Fury and her, and the 90s stuff is kind of cute. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think that's what... Like, I tried watching it once, but then it was just like... It was when, like a lot of, like, the, like, Endgame and, like, stuff like that was out, and I was just like, you know what, I should watch, Captain Marvel. Then I was just like, I don't really want to watch, like, another origin story. Yeah. And it's just like...
I kind of liked what they did with Black Panther, where they introduced Black Panther in Civil War, and you kind of, like, got it, and then the Black Panther movie just, like, you already know who he is, roughly. Into the story.
Yeah, I like when they... That's what they did with Spider-Man, too. They're, like, Spider-Man, they were like, everyone knows Spider-Man's origin story, so we're not going to bother with it. So we're just gonna jump in. He's Spider-Man. He's been Spider-Man. There you go.
Yeah, I think they're kind of doing something similar with Monica Rambeau, because she appeared in WandaVision, and there was an origin story in there in the sense that you saw her get her powers, but it's not like the whole thing was that. Now she has them, and she's going to be in Captain Marvel too, so...
So Kevin Feige has sold us out. He got what he wanted out of the real comic book fans.
Again, the gatekeeping and delusions of grandeur are fucking beyond the pale. Listen, I don't know what to tell this guy. The Avengers movies didn't become the biggest franchise in the world because of comic book fans. Most people who saw those movies were not comic book fans. They just liked the movies. It's great that you enjoy them, I enjoy them, and I like the comics. But to act like he or I or any other comic book fan are the reason that those became popular is just ridiculous.
Yeah, like when Endgame came out, we were going to go see it opening night, but one of our friends was away.
Mm-hmm.
But my entire friend group from my old school, which was like, I think that we had like 10 people who probably went in total to go see Endgame. And we were like, okay, we're going to go all see Endgame together.
Yeah.
And none of us, maybe like one of us reads comics at all.
Yeah.
Like, I think like maybe one. And I'm not even sure if he does. But like, most of us don't read the comics. We've been watching the movies, and the movies are good, and we're like, okay, now this is like the big conclusion.
Yeah.
And we want to see it.
But he needs to feel important for owning a failed comic book shop and talking about comic books all the time. So clearly, it's him and people like him who pushed Avengers to be the most popular franchise of all time.
Does anyone know why his comic store closed? Or was it just like comic stores became less popular?
It's probably that. Comic stores have struggled a lot since the 90s.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure when his closed, because like the pictures looked fairly recent.
I think he said it was in like LA too, or some big city, so the real estate's probably pretty expensive to keep the rent up. Probably hard.
I wasn't sure if it was like him being like, we're only going to sell real comics, none of the liberal and like that, like, and then he just kind of like cut off like probably like a good like half of his market, if not more.
They are no longer necessary. Now this is Normie Nip, and they...
Normie Nip?
Again, he just thinks he's so much better than the general population because he read fucking comic books. Listen, man, I read comic books too. We're not better than people for doing it. It's just a thing you like to read. Chill out, Normie. Jesus Christ,
on the other
who
hand,
talks like
I
this?
read manga. Oh, wait, where am I? Hold on, I'll go grab my... Here. On the other hand, these are sunglasses, but they still work for the idea. I read manga.
Hey,
I am superior.
I've read all the back issues of Fantastic Four. Actually, did you know that Franklin Richards is the most powerful mutant on the planet? He's a reality warper, and if they introduce him in Phase 6, then we can bring Robert Downey Jr. back from the dead.
Actually, did you know that in Marvel's Avengers episode 69/420, Iron Man smokes a dank marijuana, which was the beginning of their liberal propaganda. Yeah.
Catalina Gearbox with $5 says this guy is the discount quartering. He's the diming.
I feel like at this point the quartering has become the diming, so this guy's got to be like the pennying.
Okay. Mike Max says, sadly, Franklin Richards is not a mutant anymore. He never was. Oh, did they retcon that? That's my bad. I'm not a fan of Fantastic Four stuff. So.
They think the best way...
I know. I'm garbage. I'm a normie now. Must be why I still like the Marvel movies.
way to the normies is through representation and social awareness.
There's two kinds of movies.
The funny thing is, too, is that he's basically pissed about there being less white, straight male representation, even though it's still the majority, and that's his main point. But he doesn't understand why people who aren't that might want representation from groups that they are a part of. But his implicit argument is, I want more straight white male characters, please.
Like for a while, like, I didn't get, like, the, more representation, because I was just, like, I don't know, like, I didn't get the whole, like, going to see a movie because there is a minority of whatever group character in it.
Yeah.
And, like, that was, like, one of, like, the last, like, leftovers of, like, my Chud brain. And now I'm like, give me that gay shit, please. Make an entire Avengers cast filled with trans people, and I will go see it. That's what we need. Entirely trans Avengers.
Virtue signalers and superhero movies.
Well, as usual, you're wrong, Bill. Now there's virtue signaling superhero films. Now, obviously, Marvel, Disney, Hollywood doesn't give a crap about your cause or your community, and thankfully, more and more of you are waking up to this every single day, waking up to the fact that you are simply being used as a shield from criticism and a giant distraction because they do business with a regime that commits human rights atrocities. And I'm sure...
So does basically every company in America. Yeah, it's bad. Sorry. That's capitalism for you.
Kevin Feige might know about a few of those. Now, fortunately for us, and unfortunately for Hollywood, they are so disconnected from the general public, they haven't realized yet that the normies don't want this. They are tired of this. We all just want to have fun at the movies, but they'll find out eventually. Hollywood has had a break from the blockbuster. They have lost billions of dollars, but they have also had a break from the flop. And once they have a few, that's when things will change. And the MCU hasn't had one yet, and they are due. And potentially they...
Probably. The franchise has been going for over 10 years. People are going to get sick of it eventually. Not even necessarily because of a quality thing. People just get sick of the same thing. I get it.
But, like, Marvel hasn't had a blockbuster. Endgame came out, like... That was, like, probably, like...
Yeah, but he's talking about during COVID. He's talking about after that.
But, like, after that...
Spider-Man Far From Home, and then that was the last one.
And yeah, and then COVID happened, so movie theater, like, blockbuster stuff just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
What was the last blockbuster movie?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, Sonic, which came out a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I heard a story that I think... I don't know if I told you in chat. I think I did. Of somebody who went to go see the Sonic movie after they took an edible.
This sounds familiar. Oh yeah, and you said they were just
panic attack.
Yeah, he's just too fast.
Yeah, like the guy went with his girlfriend, and then he looked over and she was gone. And then he walked down. She's like in the lobby, walking around in circles, panicked. And he's like, "Are you okay? What's wrong? Did something happen?" And she's like, "Sonic, he's just too fast." And then he was at first he like trying to calm her down, like you're just high, blah blah blah, whatever. But he was also high on the same edible.
Yeah.
And then she started like talking about it to him, and then he started to panic.
Oh
and
no!
He's like, "Oh my god, he is too fast." And then they just left and sat in their car for like 2-3 hours.
That's terrible.
It's so fun. Like, I feel bad for them, but it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, the day after they were fine.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're just high on weed. your brain gets a little paranoid sometimes. It's happened to me. It's happened to pretty much anyone who smokes weed. Like, I'm sure you have a story of you were too paranoid about something and panicked a bit.
Yeah, I've had bad experience. It's been a long time, though, but yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Everyone's had those. Profane Priestess says, "Hey, Hannah Rin, I can't stay long. I gotta watch my girlfriend's stream. Just wanted to hop in and say I love both of you. Insert, you should go follow her plug here." And then Sky Comet Fallen says, "I loved this movie. Black Widow was awesome. I saw it yesterday." Mike Max says, Yelena is the best character from the Black Widow movie, which made like $200 million, I think. Yeah, it's opening weekend. It made like $200 million, I think. $60 million from the Disney Plus stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and Brian the Doodle just said they took 5 to 10 milligrams of edibles after they had gotten melted together because of the heat wave. So good luck with that.
They could have a couple this year. In my last Marvel video, I said it's going to get much, much worse before it gets better because you can't turn these things on a dime. That's why we're getting America Chavez, female Thor, Ironheart, and Miss Marvel before we see Moondragon, Crystal, the son of Satan, Ghost.
Who the fuck are Moondragon, Crystal? What? See, I recognize the characters he mentioned first, America Chavez, and some of the other ones. I forget the list, but I know I recognized him when he said them. I don't know who the fucking people he's listing are. Ironheart, I know that's Riri Williams. Like, I'm aware of those characters. I recognize a couple of them. He is citing more obscure characters as if they're less obscure. How weird.
Ghost Rider, Adam Warlock.
Ghost Rider actually appeared in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I do hope Ghost Rider shows up at some point.
What do you mean? We got a Ghost Rider movie?
Nick
We
Cage.
have 2 Ghost Rider movies, actually.
Fuck it. Nick Cage, bring him back. Bring him back into the MCU.
That would be amazing.
Adam Warlock is coming in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I think, so that's a stupid complaint. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 actually got delayed because Chud's targeted James Gunn because he's progressive. So that's ironic.
And then complained when he got canceled.
Yeah.
When he got canceled.
And then he got reinstated and is now making a Suicide Squad movie, or made. I guess it's coming out soon, but...
Oh yeah, it actually looks pretty good. I like James Gunn.
I'll check it out. I don't like the DC stuff very much, but I like James Gunn. So.
I'm very upset because I like DC generally better than Marvel, but the movies have just been kind of shit.
Yeah, I as a kid I think I liked DC stuff better because of like Batman the Animated Series, but as I got older and I read the comics more, I think I'm more of a fan of Marvel just because I think the characters are more eclectic. And I know you can pick like stuff from DC that's very out there too, but like I like the idea that Marvel feels like a ton of different genres smashed together. Like you have Hulk, who's like a 1950s sci-fi monster, nuclear monster. Captain America, who's a straight-up World War II propaganda character. Iron Man, who's like a 1960s jet-setting rich guy. Norse mythology character in Thor. I don't know, I like that.
Fantastic Four or the X-Men. But there's no guarantee things are going to get better, but we are guaranteed for at least a year of the MCU, possibly more. Black Widow is on track to make $140 million worldwide, which was probably the original projection for the States. Obviously, we are living in a...
It made more than that. It made like $200 million its opening weekend.
Coof world right now, and Disney Marvel will be able to spin that in a positive direction, but I'm guessing next week is where it's really going to hurt them. And this very well could be Marvel's worst year, but somehow Kevin...
Yeah, last year was Marvel's worst year. I'm sure this year is still going to suffer for everyone in the film industry, though. Like, people still aren't getting vaccinated. Hello?
Feige...
Get vaccinated. But, like, also, like, it's still, like, that phase of, like, people aren't going to... Like, I didn't even know Black Widow came out.
Yeah.
It's just like a weird time, and it's like you have to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Of everything else that's happening at the moment.
He will be able to avoid any criticism, although he deserves just as much as Kathleen Kennedy.
It's kind of sad that we have to tear it down.
Maybe Kevin Feige was at one time a nerd of the people, but now he's just another Hollywood producer. On the outside chance someone from Marvel or DC is actually listening to this video, a quick story as we close things out. My youngest son, Nerdrotic Jr., was raised in a comic shop from the time he was months old to the time I sold it. He was in that shop virtually every
sold it. Maybe you just sold it to do the YouTube thing full time?
single day. Obviously, he is a giant comic book fan and a huge Marvel fan. We're about to see Black Widow, and he doesn't want to go. He's actually pretty bent out of shape, but he's going to have to...
Boy, could it be because his dad is constantly feeding him rhetoric about, oh, the SJWs are ruining comic books.
I imagine it couldn't be because he has a sexist dad.
Yeah. Magic Lad says, hey, I can get behind the DC movies because Snyder approves of Batman going down on Catwoman. I did see that. That was pretty funny. I don't like Snyder in general, but yeah, pretty funny stuff.
Take one for the team because I'm not going alone. Think about that just for a second. Your target audience, a 15-year-old boy, does not want to see...
I don't think the target audience is 15-year-old boys raised by anti-SJW YouTubers. Like, your kid is not representative of most kids. Sorry.
Yeah, like, I don't want kids, but I imagine I would be a better parent than dipshit Magoo over here.
See a Marvel film. Let that sink in. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long. I'll see you in the next video.
Nerdrotic.
Jesus Christ, that one felt like it took forever.
This is like saying, like, oh my god, the son of a kid who... the kid who's a son of a diehard Stanley Kubrick fan who watched nothing but Stanley Kubrick and other, like, very, like, obscure films doesn't want to go see the newest Marvel movie. It's like, I imagine if somebody whose kid was, like, super into, like, obscure films, it's like, yeah, a kid who was told these movies are bad is not gonna want to watch those movies.
Yeah. Alright, I gotta get going because I gotta go spend some time with Baha. I miss her. We haven't gotten to spend a lot of time together in the last couple weeks.
How dare you want to spend time with your girlfriend?
I know. I'm a degenerate.
Dare.
So I am in the chat putting links to Altered Rin's Twitch channel.
Oh, and look, we get to see an infinite regress.
Yeah.
Now we get to test the delay. Oh wow, that's quite the delay.
Could we raid your partner? Sure, link at Profane Priestess. So yeah, thank you again for doing this with me, Altered Rin. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
It was good. It was like, I mean, I still have like that fangirl of like, I've been watching you since like 2014.
Well,
and like
now we're peers. How does that feel?
Feels weird. Like I had a thought recently. I'm like, I am famous in like a weird section of the internet of like, I am somewhat famous.
You gotta get rid of that thought because it's not. You're not famous. I'm not famous. We're just dipshits on the internet that like a couple hundred people watch. Completely different thing, I assure you.
Now, I'll be honest. The one thing that irritates me the most is how you don't check your Twitch Prime and Twitch notification. And I always see whenever you go to like your rating screen, I see like you have 41 Twitch Prime notifications.
Yeah.
6, just, I don't know, whatever that inbox Twitch notifications.
Ugh. I have other avenues for that shit. Here, how about this? I'll clear them out now. What if I just do this? Does that get rid of them? If I just do that? Do I have to hit a clear button?
I don't know. I think you might have to like open it and then like refresh the page. Oh, that one. There you go.
That one got rid of it. Alright. Anyway, thank you, Altered Rin. I'm going to do a raid, so I will talk to you later. Thanks for coming on. Everyone go check out twitch.tv/alteredrin, altered_Rin. Links in the chat.
Alright, everyone go check out, was it twitch.tv/Hannah Reloaded? Something like that. And youtube.com/Hannah Reloaded.
Yeah, I'm behind on my YouTube uploads. Tomorrow, I'm gonna put aside, and after Baja leaves, I'm doing a whole block where I'm gonna upload all the videos that I missed over the past week or so.
And make sure to comment, wow, where's that awesome stream with Altered Rin? I was really looking forward to seeing the upload of that. on her most recent video, which will also get her, what's it called on YouTube, or like just like any interaction? Is it just interactions?
I feel like there's a different word. I can't remember off the top of my head, though. I'm burnt out. We've been here for 4 hours.
Yeah, you'll get interactions, which is good.
Engagement. That's the word.
Engagement. There you go. All right.
All right.
We'll pick someone to raid.
Have a good night.
Good night, Hannah.
Oh no, everything's screwed up. All right, we're just gonna do the raid. Thanks, everyone. I hope you had a good time. Like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna upload all my YouTube stuff that I missed out on the past week or so. Sorry about that. I was dealing with some motivational issues related to my anxiety and depression and stuff. So, anyway, have a wonderful evening. See you guys later.